use it. What about message for the fans? Because again, there are a lot of folks back in EU, back home, that are cheering you on right now, hoping that you're able to qualify for the group stage. So what message do you have for the folks at home?
I mean, thanks for all your support, and I hope we will represent you in the best way possible. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you.
I'm sure that they're already proud right now. Thank you very much, Lonely Kid. And back to you, Digon.
Thank you very much, Kangas. And there it is, top laner, Lonely Kid, making the call out there.
Better be ready.
Gonna need some luck.
I'm confident with it, Sarah.
Again,
I'm calm.
Again, the
WCS bias right here.
WCS fan. Okay, well, hey, next up, we have Stamina going up against Unsold Stuff in our next matchup. And Stamina's Serious wants all of you to start putting some respect on his name. Take a listen.
He's gonna do. We try our best, and they do something different. We have it in our plans, but this wasn't enough. I mean, it's like the popular opinion that we are from LAN, we are the tier team of LAN, and it's normal that the people think that we are the weakest team, but we go on to prove that they're wrong. Los quiero mucho, chicos. Gracias por haber visto las partidas, todos los chicos en el grupo. Aún no he visto los mensajes, pero yo estoy seguro que todos ustedes nos dieron un gran apoyo, así que les mando un abrazo y un beso, y sobre todo pues a mis familiares, a los familiares de los compañeros de mi equipo, y que esté todo bien. Aquí seguiremos esforzándonos.
And there you have it, just some of the words and wisdom coming from the Stamina Man. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on the team here, Riku, because both teams have struggled before, but how do you think Stamina kind of get back into this after a very, very tough first series they had?
Yeah, exactly right. When we look at both of these teams, Unsold Stuff Gaming had to face off against RRQ. Meanwhile, for Stamina, their debut game in the Icons is against JDG. But I feel like Stamina had exceeded expectations. We could see that Serious and with Death were making proactive movements, especially when with Death is on an Akali, with Serious on the Lucian. If they see an opportunity to dash in to kill you, I feel like that proactivity will help against USG.
And it's worth noting, as they were talking about, a lot of people have written off Stamina Esports. This is an experienced team with veteran players on it, led by Arvonen, who's been an organizer in the mobile scene for a very long time. He was setting up, he actually invited me to his Discord server, where during the pre-release he was trying to find out more information about Wild Rift before it came out. So a very committed community organizer over there, and I'm happy to see him on this stage. He should not be underestimated.
Man, he was inviting you in there too?
He was inviting me to his Discord
I
server.
see. All right, all right. Well,
I might be able to hook you up if you, after the show.
How about
Okay.
me? Fine.
All right, on the opposite side, who stands out to you in this matchup here for USG?
Oh, for me, it has. I feel like me and TJ share the same thoughts. I see Tatsuki as the player to watch, especially the fact when we look at their series against Sengoku Gaming in their grand finals, they pushed it into a 4-3. And Tatsuki, I feel like Jace is one of his best picks, especially when they go scaling. Late game is so good for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about the Jace. Here's the thing, he's only played Lucian so far.
Oh, true.
And it's not been a very good-looking Lucian. Check out these stats. He's been in the team fights, contributing in the back lines, poking people down, not being able to complete any kills. He's actually completed 1 kill this entire tournament so far. I want to see him get something with kill potential, get something that can commit into melee range and finish kills by himself, have the rest of the team back him up.
Again, remember, both of these squads had very, very difficult first round matchups. True. And so no matter what, the mental here has to be, thank goodness we get to play again and try to erase the mistakes from this first series.
Yeah, I mean, I think the common trend between these two teams is that they struggle against fast-paced teams that would dive you, proactively gank you. And I feel like when it comes to, it could go either way, right? Both of these teams can opt for the scaling route, fight at Elder Dragon, win that 50-50. Or Stamina, that's why, honestly, this is a little bit of a spoiler. I feel like Stamina is going to do really well in this series just because they have initiative to move around the map and try to use mechanics to win their way in skirmishes.
TJ.
And that's going to be the tempo of the game. Stamina like to fight, like to skirmish. We'll find those 2v2s. Unsold Stuff Gaming have never seen a game that they can't run out the timer on. They want to go as late as possible every single game. Expect to see things like the Senna Nasus. Expect to see drafts that will do best at the 20-minute mark
Veigar!
or later. Veigar, they are the only team that has played Veigar in recent competitive memory. So If Unsold Stuff Gaming are going to win this game, they're going to need to last through this game.
All right, we've set the table. Now it's prediction time. Riku, you kind of gave yours
I'm sorry, I had to
bit
say
here.
it. I
DJ,
had to say it.
All right, who you got?
It's very simple. Riku is wrong.
Oh!
Yes,
okay.
Stamina Esports are going to get aggressive. I do not believe they can tie USG down.
Wow, I am alone here in the panel, it seems, for Stamina Esports.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's
All right.
great to be correct. if I'm the
Outvoted
only one
is what you are.
You are. Yeah, I think USG, the fact that they got to fight and skirmish a ton there with RRQ early
That's
on,
true.
we got to see a little bit more. With Death was getting put behind a ton. There was a lot of focus there. He didn't get to play that first series, so we'll see if Stamina will be able to bounce back. All right, game number 1 is set to go. So let's send it on over to our casters, Grandin and Hell's Devil.
Appreciate it a bunch here, D-Gon. We are just about ready to get into game number 1 with Stamina and USG after an amazing match out from GLD. Now, these two teams, again, will have to play for the competition lives and their prize at the end of this match. They're going to go against RRQ again.
Oh yeah, and I especially love watching Unsold Stuff, you know, because I told you earlier, I love scaling champions, right? Like the Nasus, like the Veigar, like the Senna, like those types of champions. If there's one team that can pull this off, it's gonna be Unsold Stuff Gaming, right?
Yeah. I mean, they've shown that they've been able to play that kind of style before. They like to play out for the late game, and very frankly, I think Stamina is one of those teams that's happy to oblige. You know, they're going to let you get to that point.
But the thing is, like, we know what they're gonna do. Stamina knows what they're gonna do. So like Riku mentioned, Stamina has to be proactive, right? Like this is gonna be their one-way ticket to win. Because if you skill into Unsold Stuff Gaming, you're not gonna win the game. Like this, you're essentially playing fully into their powers. And another thing that Unsold Stuff Gaming does is they fully draft around these late game things. Like I believe from the 2 games they had, they picked 2 Veigars. Like,
Yes, that is correct.
What kind of a stat is that? Who picks Veigar every single game, right? So that's the thing that Stamina Esports has to look at, because you know this is gonna happen. You know, like 100%. Game Lord's power was you don't know what's gonna happen, right? And a lot of these teams have it where you don't know what happens. But against Unsold Stuff, you know what's gonna happen.
I mean, you put it so well that with GLD, half their win is going to be down to Glaciers. They're coaching their ability to draft the game now. The USG side, we need to see how interesting and how adaptive they can have. I do want to preface this by saying that both Stamina and USG had very difficult opponents in their first round in the play-ins, and so now they get to have a much more balanced matchup.
Unsold Stuff should ban the Senna. Like, yeah, there it is. So like, the one champion you don't
Stop,
want.
you're too good. You're too good, Hells. It's been too accurate.
I'm sorry. So the one champion, the one champion, actually, Unsold Stuff banned Senna.
Yeah, you said Unsold Stuff should ban Senna.
No, but I meant Stamina, actually. I gotta be honest with you. So
Okay.
I thought Stamina was gonna ban Senna. I actually saw it wrong. I find it weird that Unsold Stuff banned Senna, because it would essentially be like a free win for
We've
them.
confused Hells.
Yeah,
USG has confused Hells.
Yeah, I could have played it off, to be fair, but I want to be honest with you here. So Unsold Stuff Gaming gives the Gorky, right? This is a bit of a scary thing, because we've seen how powerful Gorky is. Lee Sin! That is not a late game champion.
No, it's not. But it is something that Litzing has played a number of times, and the Camille as well.
Wait, no. You know what happened? The team names are switched, so it is Stamina that banned the Senna.
There we go.
It's just sorry.
It makes so much sense now. You know what?
It makes so much sense now. Yeah. And now it makes a lot more sense. So like, it's Unsold Stuff on the left side, it's Stamina on the right side. Of course, Stamina bans the Senna, because they don't want to see Unsold Stuff play that Senna, because that's one of those super scary late game scaling champions. And yeah, I like that Lee Sin, because Stamina has to pick that Lee Sin. They have to be proactive. They have to win the early game. Stamina Esports, I say it again, Unsold Stuff is going to be picking that those late game champions. They got the Singed as well, which is also one of those champions that skills very well into the late game.
It is a little surprising that USG is going to ban away the Galio, considering how well it pairs together with the Camille.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's indeed a pretty weird ban, I would say, because you want to be picking that Galio with the Camille to fully engage. You know, you have the full engage, Camille ults, Galio follows up, you have that Varus as well, listen, so it would have been a very good combo for Stamina to have on the right side. But they ban it out, actually. I'm honestly not quite sure why they would do that.
We'll see what the next pick is going to be. Might be a case of there is something higher priority. They don't want to allow USG to grab it.
Oh, you know why it could be? You can see Unsold Stuff on the left side actually responds with the Diana ban. So Stamina on the right side wanted to pick the Diana, so they banned out the Galio.
Right.
But Unsold Stuff Gaming on the left side have done their homework. They knew it. They banned away the Diana. Yeah, they figured it out.
And the Wukong ban coming through for USG and Stamina. Oh, well, USG here. will have the Singed going for them.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
that's been banned down quite a decent bit actually, so we haven't got to see much of. But it has been rising popularity.
I don't think a Veigar is going to happen because Unsold stuff on the left side already has a lot of AP. So you can't really get away with picking a Veigar as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what else they play because we've seen Threes play Veigar twice. So I want to see him play something else. It's probably going to be the Corki and then the Singed in the mid lane and then the Kazakhs in the jungle. So we're likely still going to see a support and a Baron laner come through from Unsold stuff on the left side.
Okay.
And that's a Gragas. Gragas works very well into a Kazakhs because you can disengage. They have a lot of disengage, right? Like they have the Lee Sin with the kick,
right.
They have the Gragas with the ultimate, and they have the Varus with his ultimate.
Which is something that we've seen of, you know, when we have the Lee Sin, stuff like the Camille does very poorly into it because you can constantly get knocked away of. And very difficult to find and engage, but...
I don't like the Rakan. I really don't like the Rakan right here from Unsold stuff because if we actually look at that composition of stamina, that's the Gragas who hard counters Rakan. That's the Varus who's also able to stop Rakan during his ultimate, and Camille who can stop Rakan as well. I don't like it. We're gonna have to see how Unsold stuff on the left side plays that Rakan, but that's an Ahri from Stamina. That is a champion that I want to see. These are the types of proactive champions that Stamina picked to counter out that late game scaling composition, that late game playstyle from Unsold stuff on the left side.
Put some respect on his name. Stamina and Serious want to go into this game strong.
Oh yeah, he's serious.
Start.
That's the second one.
Let's start this one off strong with an aggressive early pickup. They have the Lee Sin, the Ahri, the Camille. So many different engage tools to jump in on USG.
And Gomelo on that Varus as well. He's known for his Varus. This is an incredible Varus phase. Like, if there's one guy you don't want to be facing up against on that Varus, it's him. And he's up against a Corki. Corki doesn't have much range, so he's gonna get bullied in lane, which means the supports, right? Like, supports are gonna be roaming around, but Varus is gonna destroy the Corki. So the question is Unsold stuff gonna be able to deal with that Varus, right? Like, are they gonna be able to deal with it in a 1v1 situation so the support can roam around? If that is not the case, then what Stamina can do is they can constantly roam around. The support is gonna roam around everywhere, get kills here, there, boom, boom, and that is what Stamina wants. I love this draft from Stamina, but now the question is, are they gonna be able to execute it?
So much here on Gomelo, but at the same time, Unsold Stuff Gaming, they put up a strong fight against RRQ this time around, going for a composition much more conventional. No Veigar here, but game number one is on your screens.
It's funny you say it, no Veigar here, right? Like, whoa, no Veigar here. What a special thing. But
right,
that is the
in
case.
Any other game would not deserve a call out, but with USG,
that is the case with Unsold Stuff Gaming indeed. So we can see it indeed. Kaz is playing Rakan. He actually went for the Ignite, which means he's going to be looking for those aggressive plays. By the way, here we can see why the Ahri is good in this composition. Proactive. She can push out the wave very easily into the Singed, and she can roam around. Here they can already see where the jungler is, right? Like, Mai has already been revealed, so this is already quite a good start for Stamina.
Yeah, honestly, just getting some early information. At the same time, Lizing is going to be able to rotate around, find some work done. Of course, at the same time, I want to say the Singed does scale up decently, gets quite tanky as the game progresses.
Oh yeah, if we get to the late game, then Stamina is gonna struggle again. Like, this is the power of Unsold stuff. Their playstyle, this draft is all indeed the Singed. Like, once it gets to the very, very, very late game, it's gonna be unkillable. And then with the rest of the composition of Unsold stuff as well. So, proactiveness, we wanna see ganks. And you can see Stamina is looking for it.
A start to a fight, maybe, here for both sides, as Avoinen will match Kaz. But they have the numbers advantage from Lizing.
So this is exactly what we expect, right? Like, Arvoinen and Kaz both rotating from the bot lane. But it's gonna be threes against Gomelo. Oh, and Lazing, he wants that kill in the early game.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. 3 members moving up to the top side. Wave is trying to crash in. They only have 2 minions. They start to walk in, look for the catch on the Lark, but Lark gets the dash away.
This is what Stamina has to do, but Unsold stuff are the kings of this playstyle. They know how to deal with it. These guys see it coming, and even though Lark did have no vision at all, he still saw it coming somehow, some way, and he avoided the gank. And it's still 0-0, which is good for USG, right?
Yeah.
You can see it.
Sack the lane. It's okay. USG, they are happy with a gold advantage. Just off of farming.
Exactly. That's what they do. They get a gold advantage just off of farming. And, well, it's working out for them right now. You can see they're just playing the game evenly in the early game, skill into the late game. No deaths yet. This is what works for them. Again, I'm still a bit sad that they're doing this playstyle, because even if they get out of this series, you're not going to get far with this, because everyone will know what you're going to do. And if that's the case, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, your next opponent is waiting for you at RRQ. You better bring your game face. So I want to see like you mentioned, USG and Stamina really step up the pressure. Stamina, they do have the tools to get that to happen. USG drafting for their preferred comfort option.
You can see how Lazing is like, he's kind of desperately trying to get ganks. He has been roaming around a lot, but now he finally is farming his jungle. Because if you constantly try to gank like that, you're gonna get behind in gold. And he did. He's 300 gold behind because he was constantly roaming around, but and he didn't get any ganks. And also, our Voinen, he tried to get ganked as well. And he is also 200 gold behind because of that. That's what I mean, right? Like, they tried to get those kills, but they were unable to. And that is why Stamina is currently sitting on a 600 gold deficit, which may not seem like a lot, but it is still something.
Yeah, we see those risks come through, and that 600 gold difference can start to compound into a component, into an item. An early advantage in any way always comes up to something impactful.
As long as Unstuff doesn't lose early game. Oh, we have a fight with that. Was trying to look for something, but Lark caught him off guard and he stunned him right there.
Very nice little stun here again. I think Stamina trying to reconsolidate the efforts towards the top side, looking for a dive again.
Yeah,
Vision here though.
They're looking for, you can see they're looking for stuff. They want to invade, they want to gank. Lazing is just, it feels so desperate right now.
They're looking for stuff, would you say it's unsold stuff?
Right, it's unsold stuff. It's not sold yet, so it's still there. But unfortunately, Lazing is unable to find it regardless because, as I said, he knows how to jungle. He knows how to play around this playstyle of scaling into the late game. He cleared his entire jungle. There's like no danger at all for him right now.
Both sides just trying to clear out as we are approaching that first spawn. I'm curious what your expectations are for both sides. If they want to fight for the Ritual, fight for the Dragon.
So, Unsold stuff, regardless of the Herald or the Dragon, they're gonna try to shake hands. If Stamina goes for Dragon, Unsold stuff will go for Rift Herald. If on the opposite side, like the opposite is gonna happen. Stamina with that has his ultimate and Lazing is coming.
But trying to bait in Lark. Zing comes up to the top side, not willing to use his ultimate.
Wow, he died!
And Lark so close to a solo kill on the Whiff Death.
But where is the ultimate? With that, hello? That's the free kill you need. That is the edge that they needed. With that, should have ulted Lark right there, should have secured that kill, and should have secured his lane. Oh!
But Three's in a spot of danger in the mid side. Gets tagged by the charm. Avoidant, not willing to use his ultimate either.
No, don't really understand how Stamina is not going for those proactive plays. They have to. They have to. You can't, there it is, start off the Dragon and exactly. USG is just gonna shake hands. They don't care. They don't care. Like, get the Dragon, sure, we get Herald. We're gonna get a turret for it and we're all good. Like, this is exactly playing to the powers of Unsold Stuff Gaming.
Stamina feeling the pressure now. Every move scrutinized because USG is there and prepared to punish as well. Rift Herald traded over, like you mentioned, just a handshake exchange of objectives. The package used here. They're looking for a catch on the Zing. Won't be able to follow through. Rocket Belt blocked there by the wall.
It's crazy how Unsold Stuff is being the proactive teamer. I never thought I would say it, but it's actually Unsold Stuff.
Well,
and
if
while
no
I
one's
say
gonna do it, then they will. And setting up a dive towards the top side with Death in a good spot and finding First Blood over the Stamina.
Finally, this is it. Just use your Camille ultimate. There has been an opportunity earlier to get a kill already, and now we got it, right? Like Casbet under the turret with that Rakan, hit an enemy, so he's gonna tank. Ooh, but before talking, Mai was waiting in that bush. He could have tried to surprise Lazing right there, but it seems like USG, yet again, they want to lay back, chill, and skill to the late game.
It's interesting what's happening here because Mai is still here and dropping health quite quickly. Avoidant looking for the engage.
Yeah.
Mai gets out, but had to use his flash to do it.
Oh yeah, and again, USG, you can see they're not trying to make any flashy plays. It's just, Lark flashed away, so he knocked up the enemy and flashed away. We know a lot of Rivens, they love to do like a flash combo where they fully engage with their first ability to knock up enemies, but this is the first time in the tournament that I've actually seen a Riven knock up an enemy and just flash away.
It's his getaway plan.
Right.
That's his getaway plan. You drop the spell, you stun them, and then you get out. Stun points for that.
A gold lead that I want to talk about is between Mai and Lazing. Mai is currently like 900 gold ahead, and when he gets this, it's going to be extended to 1,000 gold, which is huge. Having a jungle lead of 1,000 gold is very, very big, although it seems like Stamina is actually ahead of gold, which is because of with that kill under the turret, right? Like, he got that one kill, and he's ahead.
So we see that does start to come to fruition now.
Boom!
trying to trade against with that, but you've already mentioned that. Goldie coming through. Fight breaks out over by the blue buff side. USG going into the jungle of stamina, trying to overextend here. Valkyrie over the wall threes. Leaves his teammate alone, and his mind gets punished. Gets taken down. Coming in, Tatsuki looking for the shoulder fling. Gets it onto Sirius, but no damage follow-up.
Yeah, Stamina wins that. They have the Lee Sin, they have the RA, they just win that. And yet again, I'm gonna say it again, with that, could have killed Lark. He has his ultimate. Use it. Why are you not playing so aggressive? You need to. You have to. Like, he has his ultimate, and he was fighting against Lark in a 1 versus 1, and he did not use his ultimate again. He needs to go for those plays. He has to try to extend his lead, because all he has to do is kill Lark once. Do that, and you're just 3k ahead. Why? Because you push the wave, you get a turret, you get the kill, and you just win. You win your lane, and you essentially win the game.
Allowing Lark to honestly get away with a couple of things here.
Yeah.
Stamina are going to feel that later on.
Oh,
USG.
Witstat is clearly the better Baron laner right now, but he's not extending his lead as much as he should have. Like, he's much better. Here we can see it again. Like, Stamina, if they don't get this kill, I'm gonna get mad.
Maximum confidence here. They're starting to move in.
Oh, they
Mai
won't.
joins his Baron laner in the top side. Lark walking forward onto With Death. The isolation on the Camille. USG that chooses not to go in.
So it's Mai that actually saved him. If Mai was not there, I'm sure Stamina would have fully on engaged that turret. Yet again, Mai just being where he has to be, right? He's constantly roaming around, being at the exact spot his team needs him to be. And like, even though he's not actively getting kills, he's 0-1 actually. He's ahead in gold, and he's been denying ganks from Stamina. So you shouldn't only look at the stats. You should also actually look at the mind games and just the things that he's doing. He's denied a lot.
Sirius on the bottom side will also get a turret. During that time, the rest of USG overcorrected. They went to the top side, all trying to stop Lark from dying. As a result, Sirius gets that free lane, continues to scale up.
Now the question is this 2k gold lead, it's actually even a 1.6k gold lead from Stamina enough? Is it gonna be enough? Like, sure, they have a lead, sure, they got a turret, but is it enough? And you can see Unsold stuff is, of course, not gonna start off this Herald. And there is a fight!
Tatsuki caught out and followed through by Lezing. Goes down ultimately to Sirius. Sirius gets to start dashing away. The child won't be able to hit. Package comes across. A beautiful Dragon's Ray should knock away Lark. Joining back into the fight with Death. Flies in with a hook shot and running him down in the mid lane. Finally using his Hextech Ultimate and will pick up another kill. Caught off alone against Lark, but gets the empowered auto attack, the precision protocol, and a triple kill, and a prime gaming ace to Stamina.
There you go. This is the Stamina we need to see right now. The aggressiveness. That one arrow from Gomelo, by the way. I'm not sure if we're gonna see it, as we just got a prime gaming ace, by the way. Stamina just completely aced Unsold Stuff Gaming right now. And that one arrow from Gomelo, which went right through everyone, which I'm sure we'll see very soon. And we'll see it during the Coca-Cola pop-off. So let's just pay attention, right? Here, unfortunately, the Singe got caught. Tatsuki is just dead. But let's just put our eyes on the Varus, because I don't want to miss it. So I think it was this one. Boom! And there was another one, I believe, after that, which dealt so much damage. Here, boom! You see that? Just two Varus arrows right after each other, just from the backline, absolutely destroying Unsold Stuff. And then with that, doing what he has to do on that Camille. We criticized him in the beginning, but he just got a triple kill.
So much safety over in that side. Look at that. Look at those finger movements. Oh my goodness. Look at those calls.
Oh, they were passionate. And meanwhile, we actually have a dragon fight.
That is absolutely correct. Dragon fight happens here. Cham over on Sirius. They want to finish off this Ari, but Ari gets to dash away with the Spirit Rush. USG get the dragon and get out.
Which is pretty good for them, right? Like, they want to scale into the late game. Dragons are the objectives that do scale into the late game, because they scale with a percentage of whatever you get, and they got the movement speed, which means they're going to be able to roam around a little faster. And the Cloud Dragon on Singed, ooh, it's not the champion you want to have a Cloud Dragon on, because he'll be so fast.
But I do like from Stamina now, though. They have whiffed that with his ultimate. They get to have the lockdown on the Singe.
Oh, yeah.
And so while he can run fast, he cannot run out the Camille.
Definitely, and it's now up to Wit's stats, right? Like, is he gonna use those correct ultimates? They can get such a free, they can get so many free kills. Stamina can get so many free kills. Sirius on that Ari sitting on 2 items as well right now. Like, they just have so much damage up against Unsold Stuff, who just don't have that much gold right now. They don't really have that much agency around the map. They don't have that mid lane turret. Here you can see, this is what we want to see from Stamina.
Absolutely. In an aggressive position, they knew where Mai was. Moved over to try and punish him. You can see Mai, needs to dash away quickly.
So Stamina has a lot of vision. That's the one thing they've been doing very, very well this game. They have a lot of vision, and here you can see it, right? Like they're constantly trying to get a catch, because that is what they have to do. They have to catch out an enemy, get an objective, extend their lead. Catch an enemy, get objective, extend the lead. And whenever they can fight, they do it as well. Like all these things, Stamina wins. This is the unfortunate thing from Unsold Stuff Gaming.
My goodness.
Oh, like, Unsold Stuff can't do anything right now.
This is so sad. Kaz was right there. Using the sweeper, and the vision, the ward was right past the point that he could not spot. And so now USG entirely seen by Stamina. No secrets here for USG.
They had to waste the control ward for that one, just to get that one ward. Because they did see the ward, but they popped it away just with that control ward. That's a bit unfortunate, right? Like when you use a sweeper and you see the ward sitting, but you just can't get it.
So USG now, after having lost that chance to find a fight in the mid lane, will back off Stamina. Reconsolidate efforts. Yeah. Alone and away from the rest of their team. The Rift Tower popped in the mid lane.
Oh, Stamina is just extending their lead, and USG goes in.
But they managed to go on to Lazing. That's the only target they really have. Gomel's still over the backline. He gets to put out damage now with that joins in. They have the Hextech ultimatum trying to jump back onto Mai. They finish him off with the execution out from Lazing. Dashing back in, they manage to find a second kill onto Locke with that flashes forward, but misses the chance for the kill onto Kaz.
And Tatsuki on that Singe is just not dealing enough damage, and Stamina is even getting an inhibitor. Like, this is what we mean. Unsold Stuff Gaming, you can't win every game like this. Please understand it. We know you're good at late game scaling champions, but now Stamina with that incredible proactive gameplay, with the Lee Sin, with the Ahri, they're gonna run over you. They're gonna destroy you.
Yeah, USG have to step it up. We saw from them in their regional performance an incredible team fighting, scrappy kind of composition, scrappy kind of style now, moving into a more late game oriented play. Facing some difficulty.
Oh yeah, definitely. And here the Rakan tried to go in, make a play, but it was just not enough. Like, sure, the engage was good, but there you can see it, right? Like, Tatsuki on the Singed is not doing any damage. He hit everyone with his gas, which should be like a massive advantage during a team fight, but it didn't matter. He doesn't have a Leandris yet, so he won't do enough damage. Like, it's just, now he finally finishes off the Leandris, but it's just so late. You've already lost an inhibitor turret. You're already 7k down in gold, and Stamina is just gonna run over you and try to start off this Baron as well.
They get to take the jungle, get to get control around the Baron. You just see Sirius standing nearby. Of course, they have the charm coming in. Ooh. Difficult to lock down Kaz, though. The Rakan's so slippery.
That was scary, though. That was scary.
That was scary.
It scared me a little bit. I thought he would die right there. I thought he would get blown up. With that, you know, oh, there they catch the Riven as well.
Charm. That's it, Mega Adhesive. They're trying to rush in. They get a knockout over to the back, but Gomel's still alive. Taking it now. The first one goes down to the arrow. Long's gonna go down too. He might have the stasis, but he still is going to fall. If he does not manage to run away, dashes in time. Avoidant goes into the root, pulled back here by Tatsuki.
Oh, you can see, right? Like every single minute of this game, Unsold Stuff gets just a tad bit closer to winning team fights. This is exactly how they play, right? Like every minute, it goes more their way. Every minute, they scale up. Every minute, they have a bigger chance to win the game. Like that, right there, they traded 1 for 1. It was not a lost fight. And the game is getting paused, which I assume there's going to be some sort of a problem for them. But Unsold Stuff Gaming, they could still win this game. Like, that's the thing with this team, right? You think they just lost?
How is Stamina not won yet? Stamina's like, guys, I think there's a problem here. I think we're supposed to win now.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. They should have been even more aggressive, because they could have. Unsold Stuff allowed them to do it, but with that, early on in that game, he just did not use his Hextech ultimatum to extend his lead. He would have been even more ahead than he is right now.
Right. A lot of pressure here for Stamina. The early game went in their favor, but we can only wonder if it could have gone more in their favor. For now, though, we're going to try and get this result so we can get back into game quickly. An impressive showing so far here from Stamina, but USG now starting to do more damage. Team fights looking a little bit closer, and you have to wonder if we're past the 15-minute mark, is this the time for USG to shine?
Oh yeah, like I would definitely say that early game was impressive by Stamina, even though they had some hiccups, not minor hiccups, were actually pretty major hiccups, which is not extending their lead as much as they should have, and those early game rotations of Lee Sin, you know, not getting the ganks, their team fights were amazing. They were extending their lead in such a good way. They were getting so many objectives. They got that mid lane inhibitor turret. These are things that you have to do against a team like Unsold Stuff Gaming. So Unsold Stuff Gaming is just trying to hold on, because they know we reached that 20-minute mark. Ooh, we're gonna win this game. But the question is, are they gonna be able to survive for 5 more minutes?
5 more minutes. That's the timer. That's the imposed timer we have here for Stamina. Baron is up. Elder Drake should be coming up quite soon as well. And so 2 major objectives here at USG need to fight tooth and nail for those.
They have to fight for those, right? Like, even if they're not ready, even if their composition is just not quite ready for it yet, they have to fight for it. Because, yeah, if they lose an Elder Dragon, it really doesn't matter how good your comp skills into the late game, you're still gonna lose.
Right, you can have full builds versus full builds, but with Elder Dragon as well. And of course, we have our audience members from one of our watch parties around the world. Very excited for the game.
It's always fun to see a live audience, right? Like when a play happens and they all start clapping, all start screaming, it brings so much hype to these teams as well. And I'm sure the teams that know that they have an audience are going to be motivated even more by them. So, you know, if you're the audience right now, keep clapping. These teams are watching you.
They'll feel the energy, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, we feel it as well here on the stage, right? Like, when we see those audiences, we feel it as well. Like, those are the things, as I said, like, the morale is so important when you play a competitive game like this. It's not just the actual game and the stats, it's the morale.
Absolutely.
You have to want to win. Like,
I mean, Ruiz brought his team to victory with his energy as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, that was one major part from GameLord, and we always see it. On a live stage, they do so well, and that's because of Ruiz, because he keeps screaming in everyone's ear, like, let's go, let's win the game, and then they win the game, because he's constantly screaming in their ear, and, you know, they're so motivated to just win the game.
And while that moral factor is a huge part, we also have to look back at the gameplay, something I am very much looking forward to. Both these teams have had difficult first-round opponents, but the winner of this one, well, they go up against RRQ again.
Yeah.
We're looking pretty strong in the series, mind you. I think they took a game off of the WRR team as well, and so it definitely seems like they have a tough road ahead of them. But for now, they need to focus on the present.
Oh, yeah.
Look towards what they need to get done these next 5 minutes.
They gotta win this game, and they gotta win against RRQ. That's I wouldn't want to be in the place of these players. So I'm happy that I'm here casting, judging them. I would not want to be in one of their spots because they have to win this game and then win against RRQ as well to make it into the group stage. But they're getting the practice in right now. They're playing, they're on stage, you know, they're having some fun. If someone can win this game and do great, maybe they could win against RRQ. I don't really see it happen, but we didn't see GameLord win. We didn't really see it happen that GameLord would win against Furious as well, but here they did it. 2-0.
Yeah, exactly, right. And even going into this one, Stamina, I don't want to discount them all too much because they went against JD Gaming, and JD Gaming are looking so good right now.
It's the top 2 team in China. I mean,
so maybe, you know, and they're looking pretty solid against USG now.
Yeah,
whatever happens moving into the future, I'm looking forward to it.
This is going to be the most intense late game. Like, that's the beauty of Unsold stuff. I just love watching them. I really don't want to see them lose, but I also don't want to see Stamina lose. That's the sad part about saying goodbye to these teams, right? You want to see both of them play, especially teams like this who have a lot of personality, and only one of them is going to make it.
I'm sorry, I have a different outlook on this one. I'm prepared. I'm prepared for these teams to fight it out. Last chances for both of them. They want to keep things going.
Yeah, I'm just super excited to see what's going to happen next game as well, regardless of this being a win or a loss, because the drafts matter so much for these teams. Like, there are certain teams where the draft is such a big part of their playstyle, and Unsold Stuff Gaming is one of them as well. So it's going to be so interesting to see what's going to get drafted. You know, the early game aggressiveness from Stamina, which they did in this game, which I assume they'll do in the next game as well. Or is Stamina actually going to play in the hands of Unsold Stuff and pick late game themselves? Like, how crazy would that be? Like, that's all of the different kinds of crazy stuff that you could potentially see on the Icon series.
You know, a surprising thing for me, as we are going back into this one, immediately Tatsuki in danger once we get back into this one. I think this is actually the highlight. This is a replay of our previous fight, I believe. The one with Tatsuki coming back with going down.
Yeah, definitely. This is a replay where Withstat did an amazing dive and the Varus did so much damage. It was like, this is the fight that Stamina needed to look for, right? Because this is the proactiveness. You can see they just killed everyone under the turret. They got an ace, like it's nothing. And like, again, I feel like Stamina should have done this just a bit earlier in the game. And sure, they got the inhibited turret, but again, is it too late or is it not too late? That's the question you gotta ask yourself. Whoa. We need those tables, okay? We need those tables for the finals, up until the finals.
You can see how excited Gomelo was as well. I mean, honestly, looking like a much more coordinated effort now. Stamina had some issues trying to punish JDG but now these rotations are panning out.
But you can see there is potential for USG, right? Like, Kostatski is very easily able to apply his gas on everyone from Singed, but it's just not doing anything yet. The reason that I'm saying yet is because Singed is one of those late game scaling champions. If this guy can get into the late game, he's gonna be number one, unkillable, and number two, deal an insane amount of damage. And with the buffed Rylai's Scepter, it slows by 30% now instead of 20%. He's gonna be slowing the heck out of everyone. So late game, Unsold stuff. But is that gonna happen? Oh. We're having
If the first time wasn't enough, make sure you check it for the second and the third time.
Oh yeah,
We're
for sure.
moving very quickly through time.
So Unsold stuff also has the Corki, and that is another champion that can make it or break it, right? Like, have a good Corki package and you do so much. Here you can see it, right? Like, the team fight played in slow motion again. The Rakan had a beautiful knock-up. Unsold stuff fought it incredibly well, but it was just not enough. Like, it was not enough because they haven't reached that late game yet. They did trade 1-for-1, however, so you can see that there is potential, but they still need so many more items to deal with that aggressiveness from Stamina.
And what an amazing moment, honestly, here, Hells, to be on the international stage. We had Season 0, we had Horizon Cup, but now, on a much grander scale, 24 teams have joined us here in Suntec in Singapore once again.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you on the spot. Which region is gonna be the worst?
The worst?
Now, boom, answer.
Oh, no. Okay, honestly, I thought it was going to be EMEA.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be WREC.
Well, who do you say now?
Okay. I'm still calibrating. I'm still adjusting. I can't give you
Just
the
say
regions.
it. Say the two letters.
Oh man. Okay,
I wanna hear it.
WNS.
Yes! yes! We are back in the game, however, so we don't have to talk about the WNS anymore. It's Unsold stuff against Stamina. So, mid lane inhibitor has been taken. Unsold Stuff Gaming is trying to scale into the late game. You can see Singed has his 2 damage items, but doesn't have his defensive items quite yet. So they are getting there, but the Elder is spawning in like 13 seconds.
Yeah, coming up in just a little over 10 seconds. Lizing is down, so will have to make his way over. Stamina a little bit later to get control around the pit. But it's not a massive loss, honestly.
Yeah, Stamina has to fight this, right? Like, you can see Unsold stuff, they all love to play around objectives. This is gonna be a rough fight to fight for Unsold stuff, but I love how they are the ones getting the fight started.
Tatsuki coming in here, the charm misses out. Look at how much work is done, but he had adhesive out from Tatsuki. Stamina burns so much in the process getting away.
Oh, Unsold stuff was the one engaging right there. I love to see that. Oh, and Sirius used his ultimate right there. Wasted his ultimate right there even. Singed doesn't have that ultimate either, so this is just like both teams wasted so many abilities, so many ultimates.
Yeah, slipping past each other, but also Stamina burning away those flashes. I'm looking to Gomelo and Avoinen for what they can get done without the flash.
Witstat has his ultimate. That is the one thing that allows Stamina to just instantly win a team fight. Get a Camille ultimate in and follow up. The question is though, does USG have the Stasis enchants to counter as well? Because Stasis can just completely counteract the Camille ultimate. Oh, both teams are just sitting on the edge of their seats. They both want to take this Elder Dragon, but it's not going through. You can see it, right? The ones that don't have a Stasis enchant is the Singed and the Rakan. So those are likely going to be the target of Witstat on that Camille.
Or Guardian Angel here as well for Withdeath, making him such a difficult target.
4 items.
You can't kill him. You really cannot.
Oh yeah, and Lark is only sitting on 2 items. Like, it's a 2-item Baron laner against a 4-item Baron laner. Like, this is just too much for Unsold stuff. And now you can see Mai finally finishing his 3rd item, Singed finishing his 3rd item. Yet again, they are getting the power spikes, but they're just not quite there compared to Stamina's composition. You know, they do have a chance to win teamfights, but Stamina needs to start off this dragon. But not to get it, it's to bait Unsold Stuff Gaming.
Well, Unsold Stuff Gaming look like they might just be baited. Package picked up here for 3s. They're moving in onto the pit. Withdeath starts to walk in, looking for the catch. It's going to be onto Tatsuki. Tatsuki does manage to get a knockback onto Lezing. Lezing over to the back line, still alive. Redemption comes through, and Stamina running them down over to the back. Lock still here and fighting, but rally behind Stamina. Sirius brings them in. Gomelo brings them in. A triple kill comes across, and a quadra kill.
Give this man a penta. Give this man a penta. He just needs one more kill. Is he going to be able to get it? The timer is ticking, but Stamina just won the game. Regardless of what happens, this is it, Grandin.
Tatsuki running in, he still has time. A little bit more damage out for Gomelo. A few more attacks and a penta kill for Gomelo!
He got it! A penta kill and the victory over Unsold Stuff Gaming after a long tech pass. We got a beautiful ending to the game right there. Stamina taking the first game. Unsold Stuff is... They lose one more, they go home.
That's it, one more game, and you are done. And Stamina, they keep the hope going.
They were able to counter out that late game of Unsold Stuff Gaming. They knew what their game plan was, and they executed it, not perfectly, but they executed it. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Just win. Before 20 minutes, you gave that 5-minute timer. Stamina held it out till like the 18th minute mark.
And they just won the game, right? Like that's what I mean. You can use the Elder Dragon to bait out the enemy. That's exactly what Stamina did. They used it, they baited out Unsold Stuff, and they started a fight, which was in their advantage, and they just won it out. Like, that is the problem you have as Unsold Stuff. Like, sure, you can skill into the late game, but when the Elder spawns, there is no more late game. When you give the Elder to the enemy, you give such a massive advantage that it doesn't matter. You're just gonna lose the game.
A very nice win here for Stamina, but I have to say, Hells, I am a little bit afraid now because the Analyst S is coming up next, and you just put me on the spot, and I just said that WNS was the worst region now, in my opinion.
Hey, I agree with you.
So
I agree with you. It's both of us against them.
So I am curious to see what they have in mind when we do toss it over to them. I can only imagine TJ and Digon's response to this. But of course, with Stamina and USG moving into game number 2, we have to look forward to what else they have in say. So we're going to bring it over to the analysts. That's Digon, TJ, Riku. Thoughts on this game, guys?
Thank you very much, Grandin. And, you know, Riku.
Well.
Riku, you know, looking pretty good here with her prediction.
One game away, one game away.
TJ, go ahead. Break us down.
I was just going to say to Grandin, first of all, you get one for free. And then we could get into this. Yeah, we talked a lot about Unsold Stuff Gaming needing to last to the late game. That's their entire theory. They did get there, but Stamina did a really good job at that fight around the 10-minute mark of forcing the fight they needed. They put Unsold Stuff behind before their composition came online, and the rest of the game was them running the map and eventually getting the win.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like USG had a lot of tools to not only survive, but fight back in the late game, just as TJ has said. There's the Kha'Zix, there's the Corki. We're imagining a lot of pokes, but unfortunately, I felt like they were too behind to actually fight late game. That's exactly what happened.
Right, a lot of these early skirmishes were just not going the way of USG, and you know, for Stamina, they were finding the fights, they were finding the engages that they needed to get that early lead.
Yeah, and so much that came from With Death, who had an incredible game on the top side of the map from the Camille, and into the combo we were talking about at the beginning, the way that Varus can contribute to fights from miles away. With Death goes in at the very start of these fights, finds key targets, locks them down, and the Varus can always contribute. You don't have that problem where sometimes the team engages and the rest of the team is too far behind. That happens with characters like Camille. The advantage of a Varus, the advantage of a Ziggs, those types of long-range carries, is they can always keep up with the engage.
But I want to go back to the Baron side of the map because With Death was focused early on in the series before that they had, and it was, they didn't get to play the game at all, ever. And now, without that type of focus, you get to see what kind of player he is.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It felt like Stamina was focusing heavily on finding early game picks for With Death at topside, because it makes sense. You have a Lee Sin, you have a Camille. Of course you want to set up fights. You also have an Ahri that is able to get single target on top of the Hextech ultimatum, but it didn't matter. Finding that 5v5 team fight at mid was that solidified Stamina in this game.
And it felt like there weren't enough tools to keep With Death at bay once he started diving. And that was a real problem in the late game team fight that decided the game, where this pentakill was picked up.
Yep.
The late game team fight, everything was online for USG. They did the hard part of surviving, even with the advantage that Stamina earned. USG got a lot of their tools online, were ready to team fight in the late game, and they couldn't contain With Death, who just leapt into their backline and ate their carries alive.
Yeah, it felt like even though, let's just say, USG cannot reach the backline, which is the Varus, they had the Singe, which was the answer to a Camille, to a Lee Sin, to an Ahri who's going to be very incredibly slippery with the adhesive like Mega Glue, right? Just punish them when they dash in, not let them escape.
Right, but they still weren't able to get the win. Plus, Tutski didn't have the type of effect that we expected from a star player. What do you want to see differently from this USG squad to at least get them to where they want to be?
For me, match them with mechanics. Honestly, this is reminiscent of the Stamina versus JDG, where With Death played Garen. So Statsuki playing a Singe is a very similar form. So honestly, pick an Akali, pick a Jace, pick something that has agency, self-setup, and damage to boot.
We talked about giving Tatsuki the kind of carry that can get into the enemy backlines and do damage. That Varus, not as much of a problem if you have something like a Zed or a Jace. You see that entire game, Gamela completely uncontested, does the most damage in the game from the backline. So Tatsuki get a better carry, and to With Death I have a very simple answer. Get a Galio, get a Braum, get an Alistar, something that can receive that pressure and tie it up. Galio, obviously the most favored of those, but you'll have to battle stamina for that in the picks.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the time where if you're a USG fan, just got to sit back and reset. We did get to see some of the viewing party happening in Japan right now, and again, the pressure of being in an elimination match is starting to boil on up, and I think you could see some teams that are able to thrive in it, like Stamina, every time something was going right. Big cheer, and maybe teams that aren't as comfortable.
I will say, Unsold Stuff Gaming took their grand finals all the way. They played a game 7, they didn't win it, but they were able to get that far in a grand finals regionally. I believe that this team has what it takes to bounce back in a game 2, to not get kind of tilted by the big lights and the big stage.
Yeah, for sure. This is exactly the time where if you have pocket picks, trump cards that you were saving for the group stage, this is the time to bring it up.
All right, well, Riku, no changing your mind here?
Nope. Still Stamina.
TJ?
No. I think Unsold Stuff have it in game 2 if they get a game like that again, because Stamina, frankly, didn't push hard enough for me. I wanted to see Stamina playing more aggressively around the first couple of objectives. They traded even, and they were positive trades, but USG is all about letting the enemy team take positive trades till they get to late game. So I think there's very much a window for Unsold Stuff.
Yeah, and I like that point. I like that point that you made there, just in terms of Hell's Devil was saying, hey, this Camille's not ulting. Why aren't you ulting? Why aren't you exploding this lead? It didn't end up, biting them in the butt this time, but definitely something that they can look on.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know what? Everything has been so intense. It's an elimination match, but I want to talk about something else. Earlier today, Digon, why is your hair like this? You had an amazing hairstyle earlier today during rehearsals, and it looked amazing. See? The before and after. Right. For those viewing at home.
Do you think we can bring that back, Riku?
I think so. I mean, there's a couple of days.
I think there's a couple of days and also maybe a match later on that I'm more than willing to go ahead and bet hairstyles for.
This is very exciting.
I love this. That is it. It's set in stone. You cannot change your mind, Egon.
I'm not changing my mind. Okay, well, let's get back to this series. We'll be taking you through the draft in this potential elimination game right now.
And of course, as that last game was all about With Death, I want to make it about him kicking off this draft. What is he going to get as that carry on the top side? Rafa actually talked with some of the LATAM casters before the broadcast began, before we came here to Singapore, and he was talking about how celebrated With Death is regionally, about how he's this super young player, 18 years old, who was actually doing his university finals at the same time as the regional finals, and managing, according to him at least, to succeed in both, because he came in the day of his finals to play regional finals. They asked him how well he did, and he knew. He said, I got 97%. I feel pretty good about it. Even though my score has not come out, I know what I got.
I can't imagine being that smart to know how right or wrong I was on a test.
I'll tell you what, the LATAM casters actually call him the Tony Stark of LATAM because they think he's a genius.
He's a genius that is Dublin as one of the dominant laners in all of his region. That's an awesome nickname.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. A genius in the game and a genius in real life.
And a weapon on the field.
As you can see, our two teams back on the stage here, Stamina and Unsold Stuff Gaming, getting ready and, hoping that they're able to find what they want in this draft. Again, let's focus on this top side of the map here and see if Camille will get on through or Carrie will get on through.
Yeah. For Stamina, it's all about the top side. It's all about getting With Death his carries. For the opposite side, yes, contain that dive. We're talking about Galio, also Tatsuki again.
Yeah, for me, it has to be something that has a lot of carry potential, a lot of damage, a lot of self-setup. So I know TJ already mentioned Zed, Jace as well. Akali can also be picked up.
Love time.
Right, because With Death also managed to be a scary Akali. So might as well take that in case that comes through.
All of that, though, depends on getting to the late game, as it so often does for USG. They did a decent job at it last time, but they need a composition that will both get them there and will succeed in that late game. If I had a critique of their composition last game, yeah, they got to the late game. They didn't have the tools to just accelerate in it like they usually do because of these careful bans from Stamina. That Jace you're talking up from Tatsuki, gone. The Senna that was so good for them in the hyper late games they forced in the Japan Cup finals, gone. Stamina have done their homework. They're taking away those instant win characters that guarantee USG victories if they reach those late game games.
There's a reactive ban. Camille taken away. So with Death, gonna have to figure something else out on the top side of the map if he's gonna be the focus.
I honestly highly doubt we're going to see a Garen in this game for both Tatsuki or any tanks that is going to be that's going to serve as a meat shield of some sort from either Tatsuki or from With Death. After With Death's performance in game number 1, you will expect 100% him on either even a Fiora. I keep saying the Akali even. Now, what is open for the taking here? As I'm curious to see, it's a Ziggs wave clear. There you go.
So we were talking about the benefits of the Varus. Ziggs, of course, very similar. I think does more damage, but slower to activate.
There goes the Lucian, heading back on over to Sirius.
So when you see that Ziggs, that long range clear, the idea, obviously, that Ziggs is going to be left alone in the Dragon lane to be that stable presence. Picking the Lucian is a challenge. It's saying we're going to step into that and try and do as much damage as possible.
I love this Lucian pick as well because you can flex it either mid. Sirius picked that up twice against JDG. Now Jax for USG for that scaling again.
And that's a good sign because, again, we talk about that scaling and them not having enough tools in game number 1. All 3 of these picks so far give USG a very good late game team fight.
Yeah. Everything's all set, but for me, Stamina needs to have wave clear because if you're up against a Ziggs, how can you move around the map if you're going to get out-shoved by the Ziggs on USG?
And one of those things with Ziggs where if you do fall behind, you know you can always hang around one of the towers and just clear out the wave over and over again to facilitate the Jax to get to the point and then have the Wukong be the main engage point.
I almost want something like the Xin Zhao or the Lee Sin. Stamina, Lee Sin already taken off the board by them, but something in that vein, because you have this Lucian and the clear mission statement of, we're going to try and end this game early. And that means that you're not going to have a ton of damage from your Dragon lane once you get to the late game. You're going to get outscaled by the Ziggs. You're going to get outscaled by everything here. So I want the full investment into that, and they haven't. They've split their bets. You have the Lucian, you have the Kha'Zix, you have the Singed. Kha'Zix, Singed better in the mid-late game, Lucian better early. Stamina are going to need a lead to make that kind of composition work.
Exactly, that's why I'm worried, TJ, because yes, I love this very much. Honestly, if they pick up the Corki for Stamina for their last pick, I think it suits them very, very well. It's almost like a 4-1, or rather a team fight with big disengage in case USG doubles down on more engage. But look at that, Rakan's gone, Galio's gone. The biggest question is what's left to basically complement this Wukong, because I feel like a Cyclone is not enough. There you go!
That's the denial as well.
Yeah!
That's what we were talking about, needing something like a Galio to prevent those assassin dives. We still haven't seen, with Death's pick, USG full late game. It's Akshan as well, played in competitive, but only useful if you're planning on going as late as a Senna would to activate.
Oh my gosh, I could hear Rafa saying yeah in the background.
The Akali
getting picked and most likely towards With Death.
Double assassin dive to try and punish Tatsuki. Double assassin dive to try and kill this Akshan. It's all going to be down to USG to reach the late game and to defend Tatsuki in it.
It's so easy too with Sirius on the Singed. Buy Proto Belt, first item. Proto Belt flash in, you flip, Akshan, then boom. All the damage in the world coming from the Kha'Zix is just so perfect.
I know that USG wins if they get late, but I do not feel very confident that they are going to get there. It was a lot of damage on Stamina's side early in those first 3 picks, but now they have themselves the way on in. This is a very good draft by Stamina.
If Stamina start rolling, they can end this game before it begins. If they get 1 or 2 early picks, we're done.
Well, here we have it. Both these squads very clearly defining how they wanted to play out the game. We'll see how it actually plays out here. Is this the last time we see USG on the stage? Let's find out right now to our casters. Guys, take it away.
Thanks a bunch, D-Gon. We have the final game potentially here for USG if they do not manage to pull back in Stamina, and Stamina Esports are prepared to end it all. We have 2 assassins coming through.
Yeah, but that's an Akshan. Come on, we gotta talk about the Akshan.
That's the Akshan. That's you.
That's me. Okay, I kind of look like Akshan, and I want to see him win as well. And ooh, Unsold stuff trying to look for a kill. But okay, let's talk about draft real quick, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly as the analyst desk said it. If Unsold stuff can get to the late game, they win. Like always. If they don't, they lose. So Stamina just has to do the exact same thing they did on the first game. Push early game, get some. They should be even more aggressive, and then just win the game.
But of course, you had some criticisms for WithDef in the top side, unable to snowball and compound his lead even more.
So Withstat played it incredibly well, regardless of that early game. You know, he was so good in the late game. But yeah, he gotta be more aggressive in the early game. But this time, he's up against Wukong. You know, Lark is playing the Wukong. That is a difficult champion to be aggressive against in the Baron lane. Like, you're not gonna win early game that easily against Wukong.
Right, and so here with the Akali, not as expected to win that early game, but he does do a lot later on. Threes is the target, Tatsuki's the target, but they have to stay alive.
You know, and Unsold Stuff Gaming, we could get some crazy highlight plays right here, you know, because Akshan is that one champion that can revive everyone, right? Like, that's such a beauty of this champion. Because sure, it takes him a little while to scale into the late game. Oh, by the way, Akshan can punish Singed in the early game as well. But, oh, and there you can see it, right? Like, Lark against Withstat, this is what happens. Wukong wins against an Akali like this. So, I assume Series is going to go for that very early Protobelt, so we can catch out Tatsuki on that Akshan. And if that happens, gank, boom, and he's dead.
A very interesting start here.
Ooh!
Out from Kaz. Very close to the solo kill onto Gomelo.
Ooh, that was a close one. That was that set true damage you saw right there. And of course, that scales into the late game as well, as true damage doesn't get blocked by anything. But this time, we actually see Gomelo on a Lucian on an ADC. It's funny to say that it's like a crazy thing we see an ADC Lucian, because every single time we see that whole breaker Lucian in the mid lane. But this time, we're seeing the traditional ADC, and here it is!
Tatsuki exhausted. And so Sirius decides not to push on.
Mai was ready, yet again, right? Like, Mai is constantly ready for these types of things. He knows how to play around this composition, yet again. Unable to catch Tatsuki, unfortunately.
Adhesives comes through. But with too much damage out from Tatsuki now, Sirius cannot push his advantage.
Lazing is just desperately trying to get some ganks off, because he knows if he doesn't, they lose the game, but it's just not working out for him. This is kind of a deja vu from first game. The exact same thing is happening, but this time, it's actually Tatsuki in the mid lane that is sitting on quite a comfortable lead, and, you know, he wins this lane against Singed, because he's a ranged champion, and Singed is the melee champion, which means he can just out-damage him. So here, Singed is gonna go for the minion. What happens is, oh, he actually didn't. I think he misclicked the minion, or he tried to push out. Did Singed just ult?
Just trying to heal up. Just trying to heal up. He wants to sustain in lane. You know, it's a difficult lane to be in.
Yeah.
Wants to make sure he has that sustain. Well, looking at maybe a dive in the bottom end, this Stamina will start to gather their players towards bottom side by Kaz nearby. Deters that opportunity.
So Threes is playing the Ziggs as well, which is a very difficult champion against the Gragas, because you can get caught out very easily, and also against the Lucian, because Lucian has so much mobility. He can dodge out those abilities from Ziggs. So if Gomelo on that Lucian plays a very good Lucian and constantly dodges around, Threes is not going to have any chance to hit him.
Threes also working towards his Luden's Echo first, so we will see the initial damage spike. We saw how effective that was in our first series of the day. The Ziggs able to deal with the Varus matchup quite well, especially once those Mega Inferno Bombs start to chunk you out for half your health. There's just not much you get to play for.
Oh yeah, and the most interesting part of this game is probably going to be the objectives, because Unsold Stuff has been very good with objectives in their respective region. Been struggling a little bit here during Wild Rift Icons, but I expect them to take some more fights, because, you know, they have to. So they either shake hands or they take fights, but Kaz is looking for something.
Exhaust on the Sirius, but Exhaust on the Tatsuki to flash away from Sirius to get into safety as Kaz will appear in the mid lane.
And that's great, right? You want to burn those cooldowns before the objectives. Sirius is going to have a serious problem right now, because he just wasted his flash before the Dragon and the Rift Herald. This is great for USG.
Yeah, a minute away, no flash, no exhaust for Sirius. Very difficult to find agency as that Singed.
Oh, that's the ultimate from Wukong.
Fight happens towards the top side with Def just going to walk away, but the Cyclone committed here from Lark.
That's not what you want to see happen. Lark just wasted his ultimate. That's one of the most important abilities they need for a team fight. Stamina is definitely going to play around this. They have to take a fight. Oh,
Seconds too late on Avoinen. would have loved to be able to get that kill to prevent the recall from happening.
Oh yeah, and now Stamina has a big advantage, because even though, you know, Singed used his ability, Singed is very soon gonna have his ultimate. Lark, on the other hand, on that Wukong, just wasted his ultimate for nothing. He didn't burn any cooldowns from Withstat on Akali. So you can see Stamina just picked up 3 items. On the opposite side, Unsold Stuff also has 3 items, but it's Akshan with a Hull Breaker. So during those objectives, Stamina is definitely gonna have the edge.
A little bit surprising here. Stamina actually allowing USG to take away the early game relatively unscathed, going on to the Infernal Drake first, while USG move on to the Rift Herald.
No, Unsold Stuff is not gonna allow it. They're gonna fight.
Yeah, watch out for this. Tatsuki's over by the back. He's actually gonna lay out some decent damage onto Sirius, jumping in. Cass tries to lead a charge. Avoidant tries to back away. But a very nice pull onto Gomelo. Disengage happens as Avoidant uses the explosive cast, trying to force them back. But sent packing and running. Stamina get the dragon, but they lose Lezing in the process.
There you go, Unsold Stuff. This is the proactive gameplay you need to do. They got the Herald and they got a kill, which means they're gonna get first. They're pushing all 3 lanes, Grandin. Unsold Stuff Gaming is currently playing a perfect macro game.
Something strange is happening here. USG go for the late game competition, but they're winning the early game.
And they're playing so well, as you can see. Tatsuki with that Hull Breaker. Like, we need multiple cameras to catch what's happening with Unsold Stuff right now, because they're doing so many different things. Rift Herald in the mid lane. Tatsuki nearly getting the bot lane turret as well. And then it's Lark on the Wukong in the top side as well. This is what they have to do. They're 1.5k gold ahead. And, ooh.
3-1 on the bottom side. Tatsuki left alone to his own devices, has to nullify all. Gets back under turret with the swing.
And that's the power of Akshan, right? Like, you can get right through that glue from Singed. It doesn't matter that he'll glue you to the ground. Akshan just swings right through it.
And a pain point here for Stamina, not being able to take down this Akshan despite multiple attempts.
We can see that Tatsuki knows how to play this champion, right? Like, this is kind of like some sort of a secret champion that he's always wanted to play. And now that, you know, that they're with their backs against the wall, this could be their last game, the coach was like, all right, you know, you can go for it this game. You go for it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we're gonna go home. Whatever.
Frankly, the fact that he's played more games on Veigar than he has on Akshan is a little surprising.
He played more games on Veigar than anyone. Yeah, it's funny to see. He loves to play those late game champions. He loves to play that Akshan. I'm just curious to see, you know, because as I said, when a team is with their backs against the walls, they're gonna pull out anything. They're gonna pull off everything, whatever they gotta do to stay in the... Oh?
No secret is too important to hold on to when your backs are against the wall. Stamina trying to move in onto Tatsuki, but Sirius will not be able to find a kill, not even with Lezing's help.
So what I was saying is, like, you're gonna do everything to stay in the Icons Championship, right? Like, they don't want to lose. And you can see he just wanted to pull off the Akshan. He just wanted to do it, and Arvoinen, he's being very aggressive on the Gragas support as well. He's constantly looking for fights, and Kaz has not been keeping up with him as much, I would say. But while I'm saying this is a game where it's 1-0. This is how games always look in the Japanese region, right? Like, this is how they always look. Right. And this is playing into the strengths of Unsold Stuff Gaming.
And of course, once we get deeper into the game, Mai is going to become a bigger threat.
Yeah, he's playing Jax. That's a very strong late game champion. Yet again, right? Like, it's just the same thing over and over again. The late game composition, but this time Unsold Stuff is doing a very good job. Kaz waiting in that bush right there, ready to back up his team, and Mai is looking for a fight.
Moving in onto Arvoinen, but he does have to dash over the wall, calling to clear the wave. Stamina want to ensure this mid-side turret stays up.
The Unsold Stuff Gaming wants to go for those turrets. They need that bot. He's gonna get it. Tatsuki is gonna try to get this turret.
Exhaust on the Tatsuki. Sirius trying to clear the way before he can move in with Death in a bad spot. Has to flash away. Looking for the ultimate out. Gets a shuriken flip instead.
Oh, Mai had actually used this flash before, but Tatsuki.
This looks to be a catch. The Akshan finally goes down. Avoided with a kill credit.
Lezing with a very nice kill right there. And now actually, as Stamina is gonna be taking a turret.
Whoa.
However, Unsold Stuff on the opposite side, they're doing pressure themselves as well.
First turret does go over the USG.
Bottom
Clearing
turret
out the
doesn't die.
wave, that's the Mega Inferno Bomb.
Yeah, Mega Inferno Bomb saves the bot lane turret. Unsold Stuff Gaming really stepping up their game, and it's actually them that's ahead with 1k gold. And they're gonna get another turret, right? Ah, they can't, but they're pushing their advantage very, very far. This is what we want to see, a different playstyle, which is working out very well against Stamina.
Very close to a second turret. Only needs a little bit more work.
Oh, and Threes goes for the Archangel Staff as well. It's a bold move, Grandin. This is a bold move because he's gonna be weak now. But if he can get it, oh man, this game should be over. Like,
I mean, they're looking to be in a good spot.
Oh yeah, and the next Rift Herald is spawning. Like, honestly, they don't need it. Like, Unsold Stuff doesn't really need the Rift Herald. All they need, get those turrets, take the enemy jungle, just push your advantage. Don't force a fight that you can't take, because right now it's a 4 versus 5. it seems like Unsold stuff is still interested, so let's see how this fight unfolds.
Yeah, Lezing quickly moves on to the Rift Herald.
Yeah.
But not baited in by the 4 versus 5 like you have mentioned, means that Stamina pick up the Rift Herald for themselves. Tatsuki working his way on another turret yet again.
Exactly, this is what they need to do, although Tatsuki has to be a bit careful here because they are rotating on him.
Of course, you see the Mega Adhesive come through, the Rocket Belt used as well. Not able to get the root onto the Akshan. Avoidant now joining into the fight, the Exhaust first through. Body Slam lands onto the Akshan as the Akshan tries to get away in the mid side. Trying to look for a fight, but look how much damage this dealt to the turret. Mai takes it down. Culling does not help them there.
There you go, get out of your comfort zone, go for the fight, make those plays happen. This is what we want to see from Unsold Stuff Gaming. So much aggression. This is like a whole different kind of side from Unsold Stuff Gaming that we just haven't seen yet.
Absolutely. Despite the fact that Tatsuki went down, they still got that other turret. And Stamina committed many to the bot side.
And I mean, look at that top lane turret as well, nearly death as well. Just Unsold Stuff Gaming playing this map so well, but even though I'm saying all this, they're only ahead by 2k gold, and it seems like they may lose this dragon too.
Yeah, Dragon likely to head over to Stamina. Mai is nearby though, so he could jump into the pit to try and steal this one away. 3,000 left on the Dragon.
He won't.
USG decide it is not worth it. We do not fight this.
Yet again, you can see it, right? Like USG is just, they have one mission. Get to the late game. We don't care about dragons. We don't care about anything. All we want is just get as much gold and experience as we can, and we'll beat you in the late game. So it's interesting to see how Unsold Gaming is just really giving away everything. They don't care. Like there's still a Rift Herald sitting on Stamina as well, which I assume,
they want the
gonna go in the mid lane. They need that mid tower.
They need the mid turret. They need to get rid of the Ziggs. Wave cleared again. That ultimate is just too effective with death in a strange spot right now. Rest of Stamina trying to move in. He gets knocked back onto Tatsuki. Body slam onto the Akshan, but he don't have the lockdown to finish him off. Trying to jump in. They manage to pull back Lezing. Lezing in a bad spot. Needs to flash away. Someone blocked the Akshan ultimate for him. Stamina has to start hiding away. As a Culling and a retreat. Out for Stamina as they run back towards lane. They do not have that turret with death. So very low. Pulled back in by the phase breaker, but a flawless execution. Tries to come across, go mellow. Shred it down, and it's USG too tanky to die.
And meanwhile, the mid lane turret is dying as well. It's just Unsold Stuff Gaming completely running over Stamina. It's like Stamina has no chance to do anything. What a beautiful gameplay by USG. And that is another turret. This is the 5th turret, and the top lane turret is going to be the 6th one if they take it. 0 turret for Stamina, Grandin.
It's as if game 1 never happened here, Christian.
It didn't happen. I don't remember it, because seeing an Unsold Stuff Gaming like this is a whole different kind of a team. This is what I wanted to see from them. And as we look into this replay, we can see how well this fight went for them. Unfortunately, Arvoinen missing that all-important Gragas ultimate, which they could have used very well here, but there it is. The beautiful set ultimate, which secured them the kill on Lezing, and after this, it was history. They're pushing the mid lane as well, if you look at the minimap on the top left. And then Tatsuki, look at this guy just going ham. Using his stasis enchant to get the bait out as well. That was nearly a triple kill for Akali. That could have happened in the later game, but Unsold Stuff Gaming, there it is. There is the audience. They're excited for it as well. This is actually in Tokyo. This is their team that's playing right now.
A very exciting moment for the fans, I'm sure, as USG. 5 turrets up to 1 that Rift Herald finally used in the top side.
But most importantly, the mid lane turret is still standing for Unsold Stuff Gaming, right? Like that is that one important turret. Meanwhile, Stamina has lost 2 of them, and this is going to be a fight.
Rush as they move in. That's the Cyclone use, but a knockback only tosses them into themselves. Sirius with no HP, flashes out, but is taken down by the crushing blow. Gomelo comes in with the culling, but it's too late. Stamina, I've already lost 2, and chased down after by Mai. You see the counter strike come in, fall through by the Nimbus strike. Gomelo tries to flash out back under his inventory. He's the only one that gets out alive.
It was a death brush, but it was a death brush for Stamina. It was not a death brush for Unsold Stuff Gaming. They are way too strong, and now we're only getting further into the game. And once you've fallen into this trap of Unsold Stuff Gaming, you're not gonna get out of it anymore.
Fall to the top side, 1 to the mid side. Stamina at high risk of losing both turrets. But it will be the top side inhibitor going down first as USG back off to recoup.
No, granted, this game is over. Like, when Unsold Stuff Gaming is able to get this ahead with their compositions, with their playstyle, the game is over. Like, look at this right here. This was supposed to be a win for Stamina. They were in a 3 versus 2 situation, but even then, they weren't able to win this. And now it's the Jax scaling all the way into the late game. Mai is not gonna allow Stamina to make a comeback anymore. This is what Unsold Stuff needs to do. They had some great plays. They had some opportunities, and they took every single one of them, and now they're here. I believe they're nearly like, what, 8,000? Yeah, it's like 10,000 gold. gold. It's a 10,000 gold lead with a composition that's better in the late game.
I mean, I keep hearing about this better in the late game composition, but I am looking at a USG dominant early game.
Oh yeah, that was a dominant early game. It's crazy to see. Honestly, unbelievable. And Threes is also finishing off his Rabadon's Death Cap. Like, Unsold Stuff Gaming is going to have so much damage in team fights. Stamina is just not going to be able to deal with it. And you can see it, right? Like, Sirius on that stage is trying to get his build up, but he's up against an Akshan with 3.5 items. Jax with 3 items, and they're going to look for another kill. This is going to review Akali, the Shadows. Yeah, so she has to flash away. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, Unsold Stuff is ready for everything. Even the Akali is not going to be able to do anything. You can see it. One ultimate deals like 40% of Gomelo's damage, and he doesn't even have the Rabadon's Death Cap yet.
Lezing isolated, alone, by himself on the top side, trying to clear out waves, trying to get back into the game. He's falling behind. He knows he needs damage. If he's going to deal with Tatsuki, he's going to deal with threes.
Oh, Tatsuki
but in the
is going
meantime,
crazy.
Tatsuki, alone with Assassin, says, I can take you on.
Oh, you can see how far Unsold Stuff is just pushing their advantage. Lezing is just desperately trying to push the top lane. Meanwhile, mid lane goes down.
Mid lane does go down, but Mai in a spot of trouble now inside the base of Stamina. But we do see them get away for now, but Lezing jumps back into the lead to take down the enemy jungler.
But does it matter? No. 2 turrets are dead, 2 inhibitor turrets. The dragon, you know, it would be funny if Unsold Stuff gives away this dragon as well. Like, we don't need dragons. Who needs dragons to win the game? Like, Stamina's probably gonna... Well, they could. Nah, it seems like Unsold Stuff is not gonna do it this time. They don't have to give it away.
They do not have to give it away. Mai is dead though, so USG could choose to play it safe. I wanted to save that, but as I watch this, they jump in with the showstopper, trying to lead the fight in. Lark, such kind of way, has a clone coming through. A flash in from Sirius. He's looking for the pull, trying to take down a primary target early on, but it's so difficult with them kiting around his shroud. Will finally find his mark, but guess what? He's revived by Tatsuki as they join back in. Respawns in time. Stamina sent into the blue buff pit, fighting away as Lark dashes in. The Nimbus strike finally goes down into the Guardian Angel, but Tatsuki on their trails.
And there is the revive from Akshan. He's just going after those thrills. If he gets the kill, he revives his teammates. Threes had died on a Ziggs, but he's back up, and now like that was an even fight, but it doesn't matter because you have an Akshan, 2 deaths for Stamina and only 1 death for Unsold Stuff Gaming, and they'll just rush the Baron.
Was a TP onto the Dragon, but it's it. I think we get Baron here, guys.
Yeah, they could just get the Baron. There is no Kha'Zix. You can just smite down the Baron. There is no champion that's gonna stop you from doing this. This is an easy Baron from Unsold Stuff Gaming, and it's so good to see this team making the proactive plays right now. He's probably gonna use his ultimate, trying to desperately steal it, but it's not gonna work, of course.
Yeah, not against the smite. Odds stacked against him. Avoidant, unfortunately, will not be able to take that one away in USG.
Oh yeah, and even Ziggs is sitting on 3.5 items right now. You know, Tatsuki still has that whole break, and as we look into the replay, you can see it, right? Like, Unsold Stuff Gaming was doing so well, but Threes did get caught. Beautiful, beautiful play by Sirius, rooting up that Ziggs, and sure, Threes died. Right. I'm not sure where he died, but yeah, here,
there we
the
go.
Akali. It doesn't matter. You see, it doesn't matter. Like, 2 seconds after, he just got revived by the Akshan.
And of course, you can't pick up that teleport and join in again, and so you can see when the Akshan is online, able to get its job done. Honestly, does so much.
It's one of the worst things that happens to you during a ranked match, right? Like, where you kill everyone.
You get the pentakill, and then die the Akshan.
It actually happened to me once.
Yeah.
There was an Elder Dragon. The Pantheon in my team got a quadra kill, and only Akshan was up, and all of us were up, and then he died, and everyone revived.
Oh my goodness. Terrifying, honestly. Here we have it. Lezing trying to make a final stand. Dashes him to leap, but flashes out over the wall.
Wow, that's just so much damage from Unsold Stuff Gaming. Getting that last turret as well. Like, you can see how desperate Stamina is right now, but they're just not going to be able to defend this against Unsold Stuff Gaming.
That is exactly right. One last turret in between USG and tiring up this series back 1-1. They move in. They take down the first target. Series goes down. Log goes in with the Cyclone. They chase them back under the fountain, trying to trade back wherever they can, but Stamina having a difficult time. Log continues to wreak havoc among their backline. Let's see the last one standing, and it's USG that ties up the series.
We're going to game 3 again, baby. We're having some banger series right now. You can clearly see these teams are giving their all to not get eliminated during the Icons Championship. Like, this is it for them. They have to win right now. If they don't, then it's just over. So really, really nice to see an Akshan work so incredibly well. And it's just crazy to see these teams, you know, they pull off those picks that you don't expect to work. Unfortunately, the Veigar did not work, but this time the Akshan did work.
Yeah, the Akshan managed to work this time around. Not only was it expected to be a late game pick, and exceeded those performances, was also able to have some really good moments in the mid game, and so looking forward to what else Tatsuki has in store for us with his champion pool. It is looking rather diverse, I'll put it that way. Diverse.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tatsuki's champion pool is very, very diverse. You know, not only the Veigar, he just pulled off an Akshan, and I love seeing champions like that. And what I love more, actually, is the playstyle of Unsold Stuff Gaming. Seeing them play so proactive in the early game, you know, really showing stamina, like, hey, wait, we're not gonna go into the late game this time, we're actually just gonna kill you in the early game.
A massive shift here for USG. Yeah. They've switched gears, they put on a different face, and are moving into game number 3 with a chance to keep their run in the Icons Global Championship going. We're gonna toss it back over to D-Gon. Well, I'm sure it's just as surprised as we are over the results of this game.
Yeah, well, maybe not so much the result, but the way that it happened. We set this up as like, wow, USG, they have themselves a late game team composition. They're going to have a lot of power to get online later on, and it really revolved around the mid lane because we were saying Tatsuki needed to get onto something, and maybe a melee carry.
Yeah.
What was that, TJ?
Well, he did have a melee carry. It was Akshan. And he spent the entire time going as hard as possible. He started the game by immediately obliterating his lane opponent, and that set the pace. But, you know, on the flip side of USG have a hyper late game composition, we also looked at the stamina composition and said, this isn't a full commit to early game composition. This is a kind of in-the-middle composition. And if they don't get early gold, if they don't get a start, then they're going to fall behind. That is what happened.
Yeah, I really felt like they put stamina. I felt like it was a bait, you know, like this is USG. We all know USG to be the team that likes to scale, that likes to be more defensive early to mid and then fight once it matters, once the 5v5s come. But then boom, they did a 360, no, 180 rather, they did a complete 180, caught stamina off guard.
Sure, I got it.
Yeah, 360, you're still in the same place. But
exactly.
anyway.
They went in a different direction.
They went into a different direction, exactly.
Could be a 90-degree turn as well.
90 degree.
If they don't finish the series,
angle.
It's 90 degrees.
That is true.
All right, well, we're getting 180 degrees back on track here.
Thank you, D-Gon.
Yeah.
But I like it because it catches stamina off guard, thinking that they have enough time, like game number 1, to like, okay, we're not getting any kills just yet. We can try again later.
And the problem was immediately off the bat, we saw Tatsuki winning lane.
Yep.
Shoving in gold is Akshan. Akshan very good in the late game, and the person playing against him, Sirius, doesn't have the tools on a Singed to do anything about it. That is a late game scaling character that can't do anything until they have second or third items sometimes. And it was just very easy swinging for the Akshan to come online.
And this right here, just watch Gamello. Just, back, forth, maybe, maybe I'll just, maybe I can just, This was a stamina squad that felt a little disjointed here, where Gamello, who at this point in time in the game, like on the Lucian, you gotta be able to dish out some damage, just was never able, I think in that case, was able to, but couldn't find the way in, specifically just mechanics-wise.
And part of that was Tatsuki, who is incredible in these team fights. We've been talking about this is why. Every single team fight, all the threats come his way. He has the defense, which is the other part, the set, the jacks landing their stuns, making sure there isn't that access. But also, the aggression he is playing with is keeping him in that zone of protection. It's allowing him to stay alongside his tanks as they press forward, so there's never that awkward moment where the carry is behind the front line and called out by assassins.
Yeah, I love this configuration from USG, right? Like, make Tatsuki like the main, one of the main DPS, basically, and have Lark and Kaz be to engage, because sometimes one engage isn't enough. You need an additional CC to hold people down, and that's the time Tatsuki can follow up, and it did happen.
And one, I guess, change that Stamina made that I did not like very much, Lazing taken off of the Lee Sin and then put on this Kha'Zix that had no effect. Again, you saw it there in our first clip. It was like, okay, cool, here's them getting pushed out of lane early, and then the next fight that they have is at like 5-6 minutes. What happened in the early game? You're supposed to be the early game team here.
I'm gonna call back to the WRL recipe from the top of show. Again, you need wave clear for your junglers to move proactively in the early game. They didn't have wave clear. Stamina didn't have wave clear at all. They're gonna be struggling. They're gonna get shoved time and time again, especially USG had a Ziggs.
Yeah, with depth on the top side, on the Akali, not wave clear. Maybe you can get a gank off if the lane is in the right spot. Never ended up being that way, and so the scaling just happened. happen. Set was able to roam around the map and get those engages, especially at the first Drake.
And we never had a moment where the entire composition was online, because it's such a weird, staggered, mixed composition from Stamina.
Yeah.
They don't have a clear win condition. And I think it's one of those compositions that, as many Akali compositions are, it's one of those compositions that works if you find early kills. But they didn't, as you were talking about, have a jungler who could have given them that. So I didn't see a way that it happened unless With Death finds like a random solo kill early. That didn't happen. And so we're at game 3.
I will admit that I thought it would just be more of a handoff, right? It would be like, okay, Lucian here early on, you are leading, and then we'll transition this to the Akali, and the Singe is there just to help kind of be that annoying front line once the fights get to that point. But that didn't quite happen.
Yet again, we saw the same thing we were talking about at the beginning of the day. Yes, you have this theoretical advantage where the Lucian's going to be deadly during the early game, but Ziggs can sit 2 miles away, tap away your wave, and Lucian never gets a meaningful engage on their own terms. The only time you're fighting is when Unsold stuff, the Ziggs want to step up and fight you.
And it's so understandable that, Gomela is going to be very conscious of his positioning just because there's a Wukong set that is able to immediately grab you, use a Cyclone, knock you up basically, and just leave you immobilized and basically turn it into a 4v5. So totally understandable that there are times where he can't find the right angle on how to enter these fights.
You see our teams now returning to the stage. This is our first series where it's okay. Here we go. It is one more game. Not, hey, if we one more game, run it back. This is one more game left here. USG and Stamina. Loser goes home here.
Tegan, I'm so excited that we have a single game that decides elimination for 2 teams. The evil mastermind part of my brain firing on all cylinders. Can you imagine being on that stage, the Colosseum looking stage, and knowing that if you mess up your lane, you're out of this tournament?
Is that the way you would think, or would you think, man, I have the opportunity to send someone home and everyone gets to watch how great I am?
That's incredible.
I
can't imagine having that.
That's how they're thinking right now, but who will be able to make it happen? Let's find out. Game number 3 will be decided right now. Send it back on over to Granite and Hells for Champ Select for this elimination matchup.
Woo! Tons of power on both these 2 teams. One of them gets to decide which of the other gets to go home.
I love how Digon said that, right? Like the power to send someone else home. Like, man, you really feel happy to make another team sad? That's a sad way of thinking, but okay. Each one their things, but yeah, it's still the truth, right? Like one of these teams is gonna go home and the other one is gonna be sending them home. So this is it, this one game. We're gonna see everything happen right now.
You miss your bed, you miss your room, you miss the food back home. It's like, oh man, get me sent back, it's all right.
Oh,
no, it's not, because both these teams desperately want to win here. Both have played long series back in the home regions to come in the Icons Global Championship to play this one out.
I'm so excited to see what Unsold Stuff Gaming is going to be drafting this time, right? Because Stamina is obviously going to go for the aggression. But Unsold Stuff Gaming showed us that Akshan. It shows that they have some more picks, and perhaps they wanted to keep that a little bit of a secret later on in this, later on during the Wild Rift Icons, but they can't. They're going to bring it out right now as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to be bringing out, especially in the mid lane. We saw a lot of crazy picks in the mid lane coming from Unsold Stuff.
Absolutely. Between the Ziggs, between the Akshan, it just seems like a team that is willing to innovate with what they want to have in the mid side.
I want to see Veigar again, to be fair. Like, I just love to see. This is the one team that can show us Veigar.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, 3 times is the charm indeed. They lost with it twice and they'll win with it the 3rd time. But a lot of people want to see Veigar. It's just one of those champions that people really like to see. And yeah, are we going to see it? Are we not going to see it? I don't think so, because they'll probably pick some other stuff that is unexpected.
Exactly that, right? If they are able to surprise us, they are definitely able to surprise Stamina as well.
They have to. Like, if they don't surprise Stamina, they're just gonna play in the hands of Stamina again. And, okay, so Stamina lost. They chose the blue side. Stamina wants the first pick. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Stamina actually puts priority on to pick as their very first champion. So they actually ban out the Ziggs this time. They don't want to be dealing with that Ziggs anymore from Unsold Stuff.
Yeah, no, the Ziggs was too much of an issue. It was too far away. Even with the double assassin, couldn't touch 3s. And so USG will have to look for a different option. They will get rid of the Senna for now. They're a little bit surprising considering USG played for that themselves.
Yeah, definitely. So the thing is, like, Stamina would have probably picked the Senna as their first pick. And Senna is just such a strong and oppressive champion in the lane. Like, you'll get pushed out. And Threes doesn't want to deal with that pressure because he won't have that Ziggs anymore since he got banned out. So, you know, Unsold Stuff Gaming don't want to deal with it. They ban out the Senna, they ban out the Yumi. But the thing is it gonna be enough? Because Ervoinen, he's known for some crazy supports, like the Set, we saw it. Like the Gragas, we saw that as well. So, like, he's known for these types of supports that are very crazy, and those are his power picks. So interesting, USG bans 3 support champions, but these are not the champion pools of Ervoinen.
Really afraid to have to deal with any of these 3. Avoinen surely still quite happy. Has his set open, has his Gragas open. Kaz will be fighting over that champion pool with him.
And Jace gets picked first, of course, because like that's just always a good champion. It's an all-round good champion. You could put him anywhere. Jungle, mid lane, Baron lane, it doesn't matter. It's just always going to be a worthy champion. It's Akshan again! It's a first pick, Akshan. Now, that I find interesting.
Doubling down the Akshan.
Wow! Crazy.
But there are quite a few options up. Assassins, for example.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like now Stamina has the opportunity to counter out an Akshan the way they like. But the question is, how do you truly counter out an Akshan? Is it gonna be with the Assassins? Like, I would say with the Assassins to kill out an Akshan so you don't have to deal with them anymore. But there comes the Shen, which is a counter to the Assassins, right? Like if Akshan gets dived, boom, instant Shen ultimate and he gets saved.
Plenty of safety, plus he has the auto attack immunity, so it's very difficult to take down the Shen paired together with the Akshan. But Stamina going for the late game option themselves.
Yeah, right. The question is Stamina... Oh, there is the set support as well. The question is Stamina gonna try to out late game Unsold Stuff Gaming this game? I mean, how interesting would that be? It's like a whole reverse draft. It's a Jax and it's a Jax and a set on Stamina, and it's the Kha'Zix on Unsold Stuff Gaming.
And now they will play into USG's strengths. Stamina taking a direct challenge. And USG batting away some of the remaining champion pool in the bottom side. The Varus removed as well.
I love to see that. Yeah, Gomelo's Varus look very scary. Unsold Stuff doesn't want to be dealing with that. So, it's like, if this is 2 late game competitions against each other, is this going to be like a, what, like a 30-minute game? I mean, when you're playing Unsold Stuff Gaming's playstyle, this is going to be a long game.
To be fair, Unsold Stuff kind of won the second game.
That was a special game.
Pretty early with the late game composition, so maybe something different here for this.
No one saw that one coming. Like, no one saw that one coming, that Unsold Stuff could do that. So the fact that we know that they can do that now, maybe that has ignited their passion to pick a little more, you know, early game as well, and, you know, adapt their playstyle a little bit. That's the Gragas ban. Corki has been left open all the way as well, and Corki is going to help Unsold Stuff Gaming fight for those objectives as well, because of that package, of course.
I mean, if you kind of stretch your imagination here and say that the Lux pick is the Lux ban is a support ban, we're looking at
6 support bans. Yeah, that's 6 support bans, which is crazy. Because Unsold Stuff Gaming still hasn't picked their support yet. Stamina obviously has that set, which could be flexed into the support, so they're fine. Ooh, and there is the Ashe as well.
A very interesting choice, bringing that in. Their backs against the wall, 1-to-1 now.
Stamina wants to engage fully. Like, they have that Ashe. They want to Ashe ult. They want to use that. They want to use that set ult, and then they want to engage with the Jace as well. They have to pick a very good follow-up, however, because I feel Stamina doesn't have quite enough follow-up yet. So I'm expecting a very, very soft Fiora. It's not what I was thinking, especially because Stamina is playing a full AD composition right now into the set and into a potential Alistar, Leona, very, like, this is a full AD comp that Stamina has drafted. I never liked those.
Seems like Stamina wants to try and isolate a side lane, go off by themselves, but like you've mentioned, it is easy now for USG to stack up resistances against them.
Just pick a tank right now. That's what Unsold Stuff has to do. Pick a tank, buy armor. There it is, the Alistar. I called it. I got it. See? Easy. It's like the easiest draft ever. Pick the Alistar, buy armor, and you win the game. This game, like the draft, is in heavy favor of Unsold Stuff Gaming. But now the question is the gameplay going to be as well?
We want to see what Stamina have in store for us. I mean, they have incredible pop-off potential, incredible carry potential if the Fiora gets a hit, if the Jax gets a hit. But a lot of ifs.
I don't think they can do it. You know, Stamina took the first game very convincingly, but I think they completely screwed up with that Fiora pick. Sure, Fiora does true damage, but no, this is not it. Like, the Alistar, the Shen, these champions are going to be absolutely unkillable right now.
Whereas on the side of USG, they went into game 1, struggled, but in game number 2, picked up the pace, picked up the tempo, and we get to see a run it back on the Akshan.
So Stamina really has to snowball this game. If they just scale into the late game, they're never gonna win against Unsold. We know how good Unsold is in the late game, but especially with this draft, where you have a lot of armor potential on that Alistar, on that Shen, and also armor boots on everyone especially, they're just gonna take no damage during team fights. So Stamina is just putting themselves in such a like such a tough position because they have to play aggressive now. They have to. If they don't, it's absolutely over. You get to that late game, only Fiora is gonna be the one dealing damage with that true damage.
I mean, you put it so well. The itemization is so simple.
Yeah.
It's such a cheap purchase to get those state appeal. The armor boots.
Yeah,
the armor
you can just
boots.
get armor. Like, you only need one kind of defensive item. In a normal game, you need armor and magic resist, right? So you have to spend a lot of gold if you want to be tanky. But in this game, all you need is armor. So even the squishies, they could be going for armor in this game.
So Stamina need to get the game going before the opponents have a chance to respond as we move into game number 3. Flash in from Avoidant with the Ignite as well.
No, but even if that hits, what does that do? That's just that's just over-aggressive. We talked about Stamina having to be aggressive, but let's say that one hit. What? Then what? What is Gomelo gonna do on the Ashe? Just a waste of the Ignite, waste of the Flash from Avoidant, and this opens up the opportunity for Kaz on that Alistar to get a kill as well on the lane.
And my goodness, serious into this matchup against Tatsuki. Tatsuki doing such an amazing job zoning away the Jace. A genuinely lane-dominant champion, now suffering at the hands of the Akshan.
It honestly feels like Stamina is falling apart a little bit. They're like kind of desperately trying to get kills in this early game. It feels like they already kind of know they screwed up the draft. So it's interesting to see what they're going to try to do in this game. And whenever Kaz reaches level 2, he can do some crazy flash combos to try and get a kill on Stamina. Because Avoidant doesn't have a flash. Here, he could do it.
Okay.
He could do it. There he goes. He does it.
Gets in, flashes in, gets the headbutt. They're not trying to take down Gomelo where they can, but
Push
he's
him back.
taking a lot of damage in the process. Both sides trading, but Kaz starts to move away first.
Did Kaz just not upgrade his second ability? Is that what happened? Why did he not push anyone back? That was a free kill for Unsold Stuff Gaming. That was exactly what he had to do. Flash combo with your first ability, but he didn't push anyone back. What happened? That should have been a free kill.
The Zing spotted. Threes backing away. Turret taking a beating to Stamina.
Oh, and that's a really good rotation from Blazing Arbor because he's making Threes lose some farm right here.
But Threes ultimately will be able to get most of it back. Meanwhile, Mike gets to have his time moving into the enemy jungle, trying to steal the buff away.
And this is what Mai wants. He just wants to have a nice and chill jungle, farm up, take the enemy jungle, take the scuttle, farm up, get level 5, get your items, and that's it. This is exactly, yet again, Unsold Gaming's game plan. And Kaz has actually been rotating right here. Alistar is sitting on the top side of the map.
Yeah. Come over to the top side while he's still level 2, mind you.
That's funny, right? He's like, he wants to counter that aggression. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out too well for him. He's behind 300 gold right now. But ooh, Tatsuki looking for some damage.
Doing such an amazing job in the meanwhile.
In the meantime.
In the meantime. He just is a very good Akshan.
Oh yeah, he's a very good Akshan. And right now, if you look at the jungle difference as well, this is what you want to do as a Kha'Zix against a Jax. Mai, sitting on a comfortable 300 gold lead. And when Kha'Zix is ahead of a Jax, he can very, very easily win those 1v1s. He can very, very easily invade as long as his team follows up, which an Akshan can do because Akshan can push waves very, very easily. So Unsold Stuff Gaming is in a very comfortable position right now with their composition.
I mean, what is happening here with Kaz? He's just not going back the lane. He's just constantly trying to match up with Avoidant, giving space over, trying to get the catch on the Tatsuki. But Tatsuki with the flash away, suddenly there's nothing that can be done. Trying to join in with the Stand United. Into the mid-side Lark, going on to Avoidant. This is the flash taunt though.
That was a bit of a miscommunication by Unsold Stuff Gaming because Tatsuki flashed away while Lark was ulting towards him. So Tatsuki would have never died. If Tatsuki had not flashed away, they would have probably gotten a double kill right there. So a bit of a miscommunication right there, and then also a filled flash from Lark. These are like, this is what happens when this is the game that what it's all about, right? Like you lose this game, you're out, you win, you go through. So they're all so stressed out all the time, and the Ashe arrow is coming as well.
But he misses on the Tatsuki. Won't be able to get there. Won't be able to hit Lark either.
Yeah. I believe he actually mistakenly hit Tatsuki. Isn't that what happened? He tried to get the Ashe arrow to the top side of the map, and he just hit someone on the way.
No,
but
it just like flew past Tatsuki.
Oh,
And
it just missed everything.
It just missed everything. Just
It
went
missed
off
everything.
the map.
Yeah.
That's zoning out. That's zoning out.
That's the unfortunate thing that Gomelo had to deal with, however, but his ult is up nearly already, and that's the thing with Ashe. She's gonna have ult very soon, but Kaz is gonna look for the third dive.
I mean, he does have his ultimate, and that could be the difference as he flashes in, gets the headbutt onto Gomelo. Looking for the takedown here. They will find him. The Gatling gun, first blood over the USG.
This is the combo that Kaz has to do every single time. First ability, flash, and then push an enemy back with your second ability. That's why I found it a little weird that he didn't actually do it in the beginning of the game, because it was a free kill for Unsold Stuff in the very beginning of the game again. But this is starting to feel like game 2 again. They have the Rakshan with the Hullbreaker scaling up, jungle is doing well, the bot lane is doing well. Man, Unsold Stuff Gaming, are they really gonna reverse this series? This is crazy.
It is pretty crazy. If anyone can stop that from happening, I do want to raise with Def here.
coming in here, this young player.
There's an Ash Arrow again, not really doing anything, unfortunately, which really doesn't allow STM to go in. They were ready to go in, right? Like, you saw Ervoinen, he was ready, he was hungry for blood, but unfortunately, Gomelo not shooting a good Ash Arrow right there, missing it all the way, and that just takes away their opportunity for a kill again.
And I really want to be able to frame with Def as you look towards this top side. The opportunity there for the Fiora to really try and run away with this game. He has gone into his team as a young player, but he's brought so much mechanical prowess, a lot of skill in execution.
Oh yeah, and he showed it. Like when he played that Camille, he showed that skill. And right here, it's gonna be a 4 versus 4 during the Rift Herald. Ooh, actually, Tatsuki is roaming around, so Unsold Stuff Gaming is gonna be the proactive team. They're gonna be going for this Rift Herald.
Yeah, USG going to the Rift Herald first. Kaz is gonna start it up with the rest of his team now coming in tow. Tatsuki is a little bit further away, but is near his team
Another miss!
Enchanted Crystal Arrow will not find his mark for now, but Avoidance starts to move in. Gets knocked up, Kaz gets it. Coming in with the taunt, they need a little bit more damage to finish off Avoidance, and they find him so very quickly. With Dev now in a bad spot, the exhaust taking him down. Phosphorus Bomb, big one, misses. And gives Swift Death the chance to run away.
Stamina is falling apart right now, and Tatsuki is looking for more.
I mean, Lezing just used his counter-strike.
Oh, he's dead.
So it could take a lot of damage. Tatsuki, he's also in a bad spot, getting chased after. Stan United now coming through. Gomelo and Sirius both chasing after him. They want to finish off a kill here if they can, but Lezing jumps in over the wall with the counter-strike, finishes off Tatsuki here. Now Luck left alone, but Kaz is running to his rescue.
And meanwhile, top lane turret is dead as well. This is what Unsold Stuff has to do. They're losing the fight though.
They do manage to run back in. Kaz running for his life. With that, trying to chase after to get the stun onto the Fiora. Knocked him back on the turret, but unable to hit the taunt. And so Lark gets hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and dies on the turret.
And that's finally an Ash Arrow hit, and you can see it. Ash Arrow hit, boom, kill. That's all Gomelo has to do. He has to hit those Ash Arrows, because if he doesn't, his team cannot engage. Like, their full composition is revolved around that Ash, so if you can't hit an arrow, you're not gonna win team fights.
USG with a almost really good fight there. Unfortunately, it does seem like Lark will fall at the end despite Kaz's efforts to save him.
Oh yeah, definitely. And here that was a beautiful set ultimate. Stamina set them up for a good fight, but yeah, there is the Alistar ultimate. It will tank up everything. They weren't able to get any kill up until that ultimate from Gomelo. You hit that one on Lark, and boom! That is where you get the kills from.
Very nice little pickup there. We'll get them a little closer towards the game, towards a tied game here, but USG move on to the Dragon here. Kaz over by the back, trying to zone them out. Will recall finally.
And Lezing is trying to compensate by getting a turret for it. Not quite sure if he can... Another Ash Arrow. I mean, at this point, it's inexcusable. You gotta be able to hit those Ash Arrows.
Desperately need the arrows to land. Stamina are trying to look for a cross-map
They didn't get anything. They didn't get anything. Stamina didn't get anything from that. And right here you can see Unsold Stuff just constantly pushing their lead, even putting down the Rift Herald, and might even take that mid lane turret. But Unsold Stuff took the Dragon, they defended the turret, they took the first turret as well, and they're just taking everything right now.
Being able to find a lead in the early game.
Yeah.
While Stamina continue to scale up, they do have some damage, but the mid game is where they peak without any magic damage. Late game seems difficult.
Yeah, late game seems impossible to me because, yeah, you can already see Lark on that Shen, he's building armor, right? Like, and interestingly, actually, no one went for armor boots. Now, the explanation is because they're up against an Ashe. They know they're up against a full AD composition, but they actually prioritize the tenacity just so they don't get caught by the Ashe, which makes sense, right? But what I actually would have expected to see is getting armor boots plus a stasis enchant, because you can still stasis and survive, or a Quicksilver enchant. Armor boots just provide infinite value this game, so interesting that they actually all choose to go for the tenacity boots.
Yeah, just trying to pick up a little bit of tenacity here. I'm assuming for some of these fights, we can't start to see tenacity make a difference.
There you can see why, yeah. There you can see why. If he didn't have those tenacity boots, he would have probably died right there.
Avoided, flashes in, gets a showstopper, manages to pull Lark back in. Lark once again, subject of Stamina's aggression.
With that, just showing his mechanical prowess. Ooh, Gomelo barely surviving that one. But with that, showing that he should be playing the champions like the Camille, like the Fiora, that takes so many, like, such good mechanics. He can pull all of that off very easily.
It is a support for another support's engage.
Oh, yeah.
One on the top side, one on the mid side, but I'm looking towards with Def here. He's up in the top
that's the
and
Gorky
serious.
package.
Gets knocked out. Cast looking for a fight here, but the turret will go down in that time. That is the focus.
Oh yeah, and Unsold Stuff Gaming is pushing their advantage very, very well right here. But on the opposite side of the map, it's Withstat that's pushing the turret.
Yeah, and he's gonna get it. Lark cannot stop him.
He cannot stop him. Not sure why he's trying to fight him.
But there's no mana on with Death.
Another miss! Come on, Gomelo, you gotta hit those. I know the nerves are on, but you gotta hit those. If he would have hit that one, that could have been a potential kill for With Death as well.
Would have been tough, but Gomelo would have been nice nonetheless. Rift Herald now up against Stamina, trying to regain some control here. With Death is going to recall, pick up the Proto Belt. He also has the Howlbreaker now. 2 items completed.
Oh, and Jax goes in. The Leasing is trying to go for something. You can see how much damage that composition from Stamina can do if they actually do have a good engage. When the Jax goes in, stuns the enemy, gets a follow-up from the Jace with that empowered first ability. That's where they get their most damage from.
Rift Tower started up here. Stamina are trying to finish this one off quickly. USG moving in.
They're
Kaz
gonna
over
go
the back line, looking for an engage. Difficult though. Avoidant gets the pull back in, trying to take down Threes if he can. Threes goes into stasis, survives for now. Let's see, dashing around, jumping around, hopping to his teammates, but still falls in the end. USG start to run. Stamina down, but Stamina get back under the turret. Avoidant pulls them in with the facebreaker, but the turret will go down to USG. But first, Sirius must go down with it.
Unsold Stuff Gaming is just unkillable. They lost the Rift Herald, but that composition is just absolutely unkillable. When you're playing against that full AD composition, Ashe is not gonna kill you. Ashe with one item is not gonna kill an Alistar and a Shen. No, and Unsold Stuff knows that. They give away the Rift Herald, but then they take a winning fight, and now they're taking another mid lane turret.
With Death can only stand and watch as USG will continue the tirade in the mid lane, taking down turret after turret.
This is crazy.
Incredible.
This is crazy, yeah.
Mid game from USG.
Oh yeah, definitely. Here you can see it, right? Like Stamina got that Rift Herald, but it doesn't matter. In the longer fights, Tatsuki is standing at a safe distance, dealing massive damage on that backline, and then it's Kaz going in on that Alistar, just tanking everything. Lark as well on that Shan. Just 2 tanks doing their job right here, and yeah, the damage dealers do the damage, the tanks tank the damage, and USG is just winning the game.
Stamina do manage to respond with the Rift Herald though. USG might be winning the game, but Stamina have a chance to pull back. If they can get with Death to a strong point, if they can have a good team fight.
This is such an important mid lane turret. We always talk about it. That first mid lane turret is one of the main objectives of the game. You take it, you open up the map. You don't take it, then the enemy can always escape to that mid lane turret. So seeing the map being opened up for both teams, it opens up opportunity for both. Because if you do get caught out, you now don't have that mid lane turret to run away to anymore.
But you have to look towards USG side and how slippery they are, even without that mid lane turret. Stamina had a tough time locking them down. Maybe now that mid turret will be the difference. Maybe finally Stamina can take down USG.
And Unsold Stuff starts this with confidence. Why? Because they have a Shen. Stamina cannot rotate to this. They cannot fight this. And Stamina knows that, right? Like they know, hey, we cannot out-rotate a Shen because Shen has that beautiful ultimate which can just go right through his teammates. So Stamina just takes it. Whatever. We lose a dragon, it's fine. I mean, it's not really fine, but they couldn't do anything about it. That's the problem that Stamina had right there.
They managed to pick up that dragon, and like you said, Stamina really couldn't do anything around these objectives.
And Corki package is not even packed up yet. Corki package is still up.
You can still go back, grab it, especially if you want to play for the Baron now. The other Drake is coming up. Kaz is such a monstrous front line. Avoidant does a lot for his team, but with Kaz standing in the way, fighting around objectives is just not an option.
And Withstat is in that bot lane, and sure he has a hull breaker, but he's taking a risk right now. He's leaving his team alone next to this Baron, and USG could choose to start off this Baron with in a 4 versus 5 advantage, but it seems like they don't. They still just want to skill nicely to the late game. You know, this is their playstyle. They don't want to take too many risks, which is okay for them, but now it's actually going to be the opposite side. Lark is in the bot lane, but it doesn't matter. He has his ultimate, so if a fight happens, he's going to ult to them.
Absolutely.
What is that?
Enchanted Crystal Arrow misses out once again. The fight split onto 2 fronts, so you have to watch out for Tatsuki first because Kaz alone with him will fight the 4 versus 2. Looking for the ultimate out from Locke to join in with the rest of his team. But it's with Death that finds the first kill of the fight. Liting trades back his life on the other end as well. Tatsuki starts to dash in. He has the hook, gets to join back into the fight. Avoidant tries to pull them back away. But it's Threes that trades in with another kill.
My man, Gomelo, what is happening? And Tatsuki goes further.
That's an aggressive move. Tatsuki walks in. He gets to kill the Gomelo.
Wow. Tatsuki on the Rakshan. Is this now going to be a target ban against him? Because they may win this game, and our team is going to be target banning the Rakshan. This guy is crazy. He plays the craziest champion. He's the only guy that plays Akshan. He's the only person that plays Veigar. Like, he has a very unique champion pool.
Absolutely.
Ooh, this is a bit risky though.
Teleport could be picked up by Lutze. He could join the fight. He's respawned now. He does not, on the other hand. Baron going down very quickly. Mai should be able to secure this. He does manage to do so in time. Dashing away, Tatsuki is still alive, but Sirius hot on his tail, trying to chase after. Watch out for the shock blast, and he gets it. He takes him down. Sirius tries to chase. Sirius tries to run. Mai on the chase, gets the kill in the end.
And Unsold Stuff secures that Baron, and they have it on 4 people right now. This is huge from Unsold Stuff. The base is already kind of cracked open from Stamina. All USG really needs is just getting one inhibitor turret to apply a lot of pressure, set up for the Elder Dragon, and just win the game.
That Elder Drake is the next thing USG signs, but they still have the Baron. They can do so much with it in the meantime.
And as we look into this replay, we can see Lazing got caught by 3 people from Unsold Stuff. And while Kaz on that Alistar did die on the top side, it doesn't matter because Lazing on that Jax, which is one of the main damage carries from Stamina, just died. Which means the fight is very easy to play for USG. They just flank, they turret dive, and they win the game. And like this is just such a disaster for Stamina because their draft is it's just not working out. And there is an Ash Arrow which didn't work again.
Kaz just pops his ultimate. It's an ultimate trade here. The package burnt here by Threes.
The Ash is just not working right now. Unfortunately, Gomelo is just missing every single arrow, and USG is just doing such a good job frontlining Ash arrows as well, because it's either the Shan or the Alistar that's getting hit all the time.
A good idea, but difficult to run in execution. USG starting to bring the minion waves in. They have a top side wave starting to come forward. Oh, they're going to focus on the bot side for now.
Oh, and that's a whole breaker Akshan on the top side, by the way.
Avoidant with a desperate pull, tries to look for a re-engage here. Mai in the back line, along with Lizing as he tries to walk in with a counter-strike, but quickly taken out. USG primed to take this win over Stamina.
USG does it. They make the comeback. They are killing off every single run right now.
1-1 the series. Stamina start off with the first point in. But USG pull back with game number 2 and are this close to a game number 3 win.
But are they going to be able to finish it right now? They are looking for it.
Fortification ending soon on the Nexus is taking damage. With that must make a captain's play. Stand and fight against USG, but the Nexus down to 300 health and finished off in time. USG close it out 2-1.
They did it. They made the comeback. They changed their playstyle, exactly what they had to do. They didn't stick to their strengths. No, they adapted. They played aggressively in that early game, and they just won against Stamina.
And USG do it in such a fashion with the Akshan pulled out twice. Stamina, they had a good showing, had a good run.
Yeah,
but that is not going to be enough, not in front of the faces of USG, in the face of USG's aggressive late game composition. A very strange sentence to say.
Yeah, I mean, Stamina did a good job. Like, they won that first game very, very easily. And then the second game, they also did a decent job. But unfortunately, Unsold Stuff Gaming was just the better team right here. And now Unsold Stuff Gaming is showing what Japan is made of. And are they going to be able to make it to the group stage? That's the real question.
Yeah, the ultimate prize for winning the series was a rematch against RRQ.
Oh, and that's going to be a rough one. I mean, that is going to be a really rough one. RRQ showed their prowess in the recent series, and man, they are ready to take that series as well against USG and get to the group stage. This is going to be a banger game between the two.
Absolutely. A chance again to take on the WCS representatives. Now we must see what USG have in store for us, if they have even more champion picks that we get to see.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a big thing, right? Like, what does USG have in store for us? Is it still gonna be the late game champions or not? I don't think so. I think they're gonna be adapting their playstyle against RRQ as well. I think they're just gonna bring out the craziest things ever. And I think they do have, not a big chance, but they do have a minor chance. And here you can see that from Tokyo. Yeah, I would be happy as well. I would be happy as well with that performance.
Hell's laying down the facts, letting you know, going into this one, USG.
Oh,
they've shown us some stuff, and we need to see them pull that stuff out against RRQ.
Oh yeah, they do have that potential, and we want to see it again against RRQ. But RRQ is a whole different kind of beast, right, that they're going to be up against. But talking about the next series, it's also going to be an EU team playing. You know, my boys Ricks are playing up against Vivo Keat. We have some banger games coming.
I think that is enough to be said about that. We're going to toss it over to Digon and the rest to break down that one, and also hype up Hells and the rest of the EU audience for our next series coming up.
Brandon and Hells, great cast on the day for our first 2 series as we take a look at an updated bracket here from Group B. We say goodbye to Stamina and hello to RRQ. That's the reward for winning this series here. Quick thoughts, TJ.
Just Tatsuki. That's all we really can take from this series. when it was needed, when Unsold Stuff Gaming needed 2 wins to stay alive in this tournament, Tatsuki stepped up, got the carry, pulled out the action, won the games.
100% action twice in a row and just heroic swinging forward. You can tell how confident, and he knows that he's going to win in the end.
So I'm hearing a USG win. That's what I heard from Riku.
Over
Of course. I mean, we're at the next series for them. RQ versus USG, getting that rematch.
She just dodged that. She just walked
dodge.
to another conversation.
Wow, that was very good.
I know. Thank you.
All right. Hey, 2 matches down, 2 to go. Up next, it's Vivo Kid and Rix. As we head to break, you're going to love the confidence and positive vibes from Vivo Kid's Katrina. Take a listen.
Fala família, suave, eu sou o Katrina, mid laner da Vivocade. Eu sou sempre confiante, mas o nosso time ele é bem realista. Quando a gente veio pro play-in, a gente viu as regiões que tinha, Coreia, Europa e China. A gente não é aquele time que é iludido, fica, a gente vai não sei o que, ganhar mundial, como a maioria dos times são. Então, tipo, a gente sabia que com a China seria muito difícil, não seria uma surpresa a gente perder. E a gente falou, pô, com a Europa e com a Coreia é bem tranquilo, dá pra gente classificar bem de boa. Então, as expectativas do time todo é bem confiante, bem positiva. A gente é uma região muito forte, comparado, por exemplo, a Europa e tal. Então, mano, a confiança lá 1000 e é nóis. Tipo, a gente não vai ficar muito pensando na China, como vencer eles e tudo mais, porque a gente não vai ter confronto contra eles. Então, a gente vai focar agora um passo de cada vez, não dar um passo maior que a perna, ficar pensando, como a gente vai fazer isso pra mudar a China e tudo mais. Sado e bola pra frente. Agora a gente tem um jogo contra a Rix. E é isso, marcha. Eu quero, primeiramente, aí, dar um abraço pros meus fãs aí, pros Catrilô, que tá sempre me acompanhando já há mais de 3 anos, tanto no meu canal e tudo mais. Um beijão pro meu mozão também, Jojo Teixá, e pros fãs brasileiros também, querido, que tá sempre torcendo, acordando cedo pra torcer pelo Brasil. E a nós, mano. Muito obrigado de coração, sempre pela torcida.
There's something about games. What you're doing there gives you real chills. There is one thing that can't be stopped. Feelings. And if you can feel it, it must be real, right? And that's real magic.